Hello and welcome to DC30 and our Mythic Odyssey of Theros, D&D with an ancient Greek twist. I am your Dungeon Master Romeo, and I'm joined in this lovely evening by Sammy, Ali, Rebecca, Violet, who's just off cam at the moment, and
Meow.
and Violet, yes, meowing. Morse, your favorite blood magic sorcerer satyr, will be on in a little bit. He's just commuting at the moment. And the Triton Paladin,
Just one
Tamara, or Xanthia. Hey, speak of the devil.
Oh,
Just double checking, you're gonna be camera off, Morse?
correct. Yes, I'm
Cool,
driving.
cool. Yeah, I
If
wanna.
the noise gets too bad, mute me or NPC me. That's fine.
No problem. I'll refrain from updating your video Ninja Link. But yes, and Tamara and Virla are unable to attend tonight's session. Virla, because it is her birthday. Happy birthday to our favorite
And she
Chaos
doesn't want
Gremlin
to play
cleric.
D&D with us? Ah,
How dare she, right? And Tamara has some other personals going on as well. So we wish them all the best, and they'll be with us hopefully next session. I'll big shout outs to everybody in the audience. I know a lot of new people are here. I believe there is some cause to celebration as well, because we recently cleared 60 people on the Discord server. Thanks in no small part to the ever wonderful Mimic over here, or Rebecca, spreading the word, and the benevolent, what's the word? Exposure of role positive gaming and all that he does. And I'm truly grateful to get to play in his Strixhaven game and for all his wonderful shout outs. A quick announcement, actually, if it's all right with Mimic. If you join the Discord server, you can potentially get in on a play-by-post canon-adjacent game that she will be running, set in the arboreal polis of Cetessa. Area we have hitherunto now largely unexplored. I know some of you in the audience will be already part of that, but join the Discord server now, and you can get in on that as well. A couple quick shoutouts. DB Malgus cheered 3 bits and followed. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Hoplites. And Valus Gen 1 also followed about 36 minutes ago. Welcome, welcome. Those are the extent of my announcements. Does anyone have anything they wish to speak of? Nope. Well, in that case, let's begin tonight's session of our Mythic Odyssey of Theros. And we're back. So, last we left off, Tempest, on the hunt for a powerful ancient artifact called Matizi, the Reliquary of Medomai, whose artwork you can actually view in the Discord now. This artifact being a piece of divinity, a relic of the gods, as they are trying to accrue them in order to gain the power they need to fight Tiamat, the Murder King, commander of the armies of the dead, found themselves upon the isle that they have reason to believe is the home of a deadly blue dragon named Astraphis, the Armada's bane. You sailed into proxy of the island and decided to approach it on foot, diving into the water and washing up on one of its shores. A shore where the water turned incredibly briny, and as you arose out onto the sand, you noticed that this was actually a salt flat that spanned for a wide swath of this section of the island. You pressed onwards, traveling eastwards, and once you cleared the salt flat, you found yourself in arid grassland, or arid dry grassland. And clearing a hill, you saw a couple miles away some kind of a village. And that's where we come to now. So, Tempest.
I was waiting for the what would you like to do?
I did say it, but I got muted. But you know whenever I add an ambiance, it mutes me.
Yeah, that's fine. Were we expecting a village on this island?
Ooh, I was expecting there to be nothing but a big wasteland, a big heap of nothing, because there's an epic dragon somewhere. We hope. I hope. But no, not expecting that.
I thought something that was read about in one of those tomes by the thing that mentions the followers, but I don't know if that was the followers of this dragon or of dragons of that colour in general. I would imagine anyone that stays here is going to be nothing but loyal to the dragon. Or at the very least kowtow to being.
Do you think they live in fear, though?
I think so.
Well, the real question we've got to ask is this: does the fact that there's a village here change our goal of finding the dragon, getting the piece of divinity, and then getting the F out?
Well, there's more risk of an alarm, I suppose.
Do we even know if it's inhabited? Like, we can only see the village from here. Does it look like there's people there? Is it abandoned?
Can we see any smoke coming from chimneys? Any activity in neighboring farmland, perhaps?
Make a perception check. And while you're doing that, I apologize for people seeing screwy stuff on screen. I'm just fixing Violet's cam.
I would imagine if it was just uninhabited, that they would have, the buildings would have fallen to ruin, or the dragon would have destroyed them by now.
Well, Mr.
16.
21.
Both of you squint and peer very hard for a moment. But sure enough, you see movement.
Yep, there's people there.
Ali, or Botch, sorry. With your 21, you see movement out of the corner of your eye. And you spot a small dot upon the skies of the crag. The forked crag, that is the mountainous forked crag. A dot upon the skies that is getting closer.
Is this
heading in the direction of the village?
Is this on the very horizon, so quite a distance away from where I'm currently stood?
No, it quickly comes in. So this island isn't super massive. It's so the breadth of island you've traveled thus far. Let me get a frame of reference for you guys. If it wasn't for myself, actually, more than anything else. Legend Keeper. So, the portion of the island you've traveled thus far would equate to maybe 12 miles, and that's the maximum width of the salt flat, and it's a point like it's maybe 40 or so square, like 40 or so miles at its widest point. This island, from what you've been able to gauge. So, this dot emerges from the crag and gets bigger quite quickly, and then splits into 2 dots. And you see 2 blue, scaly figures flying towards the village.
Everyone, duck down and get cover right the fuck now. As in, right the fuck now, everyone. And I go and find, some long scrub, a rock to try and crouch behind, if there is one.
Okay, Ali, Bakios, roll a survival check. Everybody else rolls, and everybody else wait a second, depending on Bakios' survival check.
Ooh, yes please. That's going to be a 28.
Everybody roll a stealth check with advantage.
Let's go.
Yep.
Would you be able to be honest for me, Ray?
So what?
Would you be able to do the honest for me, please?
Yep.
To roll the dice.
So with advantage, you get to roll twice.
Yes.
And right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely rolled a 4 and then I rolled a 3, so I got 5.
Scotinos, so 5 and a 10 on Scotinos. What's your stealth bonus?
That's a great question. I can't see my screen right now.
His stealth is +5.
Okay, so 15.
15 then.
Like, what is it with you in stealth rolls, Rebecca?
I'm telling. I'll run into the water.
This
I'll
is
just run and go into the water and go like eyes up.
You guys aren't near the water. You're like at least a mile away from the water. You're elected to go inwards or sort of inland. Unless you chose to stay coastal.
I didn't know when we were following and going directly. I didn't know like where the town was in relation to the map. But if we're inland, and I'll just stand there watching as everyone else goes to hide, wondering why.
Mood. All right, you watch these 2, and by the time you all settle down and laid down low and hushed, you see these 2 scaled blue reptilian figures fly into and settle down upon in the village.
Would we recognize what these creatures are in the form of? Are they dragons? Are they wyverns? Are they?
Make a nature check.
Cool. Oh, this is great. Oh, this is where I roll bad. 14.
That's all right. They're unmistakably dragons.
I got a 28 on that one.
28. You notice.
Yeah,
something
I got a 19.
Yeah, you notice something.
Yeah, 19 plus 9.
Yeah, they're definitely blue dragons. Bithynia, you notice something. Having peered through your, the lore books that you have upon draconic beings, and with the frame of reference of the illusion that Nesethis projected in mind, you notice that their snout horn is significantly shorter. And they're a little lither than the image you were shown by Nesethis the Sphinx. And guesstimating based on the size of the buildings you see, and relative to the size of the ship where, in the illusion that was projected to you of Astraphis was, they're a fair bit smaller.
My god, are they babies? They're baby dragons? Oh, this is so exciting. So as Bethania's there, not cool, not stealthily. Just gonna look, Bacchus, there are little dragons over there. They're little ones. They're a little different, but they're little guys.
They're still bigger than a horse, each one, but
I mean,
But they're not like giant.
No,
they're little
that's
guys.
They appear to be-
fantastic.
sorry, with the 28, they definitely appear to be juveniles.
Oh, that's fantastic, Bithynia. That's going to be much easier to kill.
I don't know if it is though, because what if it's like a horde, like one big one versus a big one and a little, like the little ones came from a big one. That means there's multiple.
Well, based on your intimate knowledge of all of these deadly creatures from all your book smarts, do parents have strong bonds with their children?
That I don't know, but I know that dragons are dragons, and if the one that they came from is chaotic, if not evil, then I'm guessing they don't fall far from the nest. So
Also,
I would have
Roll a
thought
history
if
check,
the-
Bithynia.
I would have assumed that if dragons are all vain, then surely a dragon would just try and eat its own young if it was hungry.
I got a. You said history. I got
Yeah.
a 10 plus 9, 19.
You recall a passage from the texts you were reading up on the boat. In contrast to most dragons, blue dragons see value in relationships with other creatures, even if the power balance in those relationships is always weighed in the dragon's favor. Though territorial, they are willing to allow creatures they consider their servants to live peacefully within their domains. Blue dragons are also more family-oriented than many other dragons, and it is not unusual to find a multi-generational extended family of blue dragons sharing a territory.
Sabakios, I think that they are connected still. They are more familiar than normal. So even though they're chaotic, they're keeping it together.
That
If it's
sounds
likely.
fantastic. So here's what I propose: we capture one of these little bastards, right? We take it to the big mother dragon and say, right, give us the piece of divinity in exchange for us not slaughtering your child in front of you.
I can only see like 6 or 7 ways that could go wrong, and
I mean,
that's
it's-
comparatively low.
I mean,
So-
how many ways could you see us fighting a dragon head on could go wrong, especially if it's got loads of little kids flying around helping it out?
That's true. Why don't we amend that plan slightly? We capture said dragon, but then we kill said dragon, and then I could use the blood of said dragon. Oh no! Oh, I might have a spell that I could use. Oh no, I could use a spell to confirm whether or not it was related, but the dragon would need to be alive. That would. But I could use you could use a young one to determine the strengths and weaknesses of the adult.
That would work. I mean, I'm just hearing more reasons why we should capture one of these small dragons.
You know, I really do like Plummet, but could you imagine if we could have one of those or both of them as a mount? You're flying in style, man.
I've never heard of a tale of someone taming a dragon and using it as a pet. That just seems like pure fantasy to me.
I mean, there's got to be a first for everything.
I mean, we can certainly try, right?
Bithynia has rode many a different creature in her life. I can attest.
You know, takes one to know one. But...
Did you just call Bithynia a slut?
No, inferred, I think. Dragon.
Look, there's more than one way to get an A in college. Dolisa taught me the way herself.
Both of them as a mount? You're flying in style, man.
Who's echoing? Like,
I've never heard of a tale of
Looks like Violet.
Violet, you're echoing
That's
like a
Violet.
mofo.
See? That's worrying.
Violet, do you hear us?
This is gonna be a first for everything.
We can certainly
That's right. Quite
Nope.
funny.
Many a different creature in her life.
Violet!
Technical difficulties.
Babe. And she's no.
No, there she is.
No.
Do you hear us? What in the actual hell is going on?
Anyway,
She's on
let's
like
just-
something else, I think.
She's on a different plane of existence.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. But yes, capturing one might be a good call. However, by doing so, we will inevitably earn the ire of said dragon, and I do get the impression that also dragons like to hold grudges. So there is that to bear in mind.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, first things first, though. I want to know what the hell the deal is with all of these humans able to live next to the dragons, right, and not be dead. Let's see if we can't figure out a little bit of a stealthy way of doing this so that we can actually capture one by the element of surprise.
Seems reasonable.
Unless anyone else has literally any better ideas. Alrighty, let's go.
Do we just want to send scouts? Yeah.
So say again, Scotty?
Do we just want to send a scout party ahead? So that we are... I get the impression that as a group we are easily recognisable and easily noticeable, but a smaller group of maybe one or two people tops might have more hope of doing the sneaky if sneaking is our plan.
I would be happy to volunteer myself.
I ain't good at the sneaky.
I am also not good at sneaking.
Scotty, how are you doing down there? I think you would be very good at blending in unnoticed.
No, sometimes I open my mouth and then as soon as I finish speaking, I immediately regret what I've said.
Yeah. You have to tell me
That's
what
the
that's like
problem,
sometime.
It's a problem, Scatinos. You just have to stop regretting things. Just do it anyways.
Right. Well, I guess it's the plan.
Do we have
I
a
like
plan
them.
or are we just gonna sneak in?
Well, I don't know. Do we want to try and just find out more about what these villagers do, and then go from there? Does anyone have the ability to disguise themselves as another thing? Can we do that?
No.
Sorry, I can't open the glaive at the moment, Romeo. Is one of the spells I can cast disguise self?
I can disguise self. I have that spell.
Oh, fantastic. Well, then maybe you should go, and then as soon as you see someone, you can disguise self.
I would be happy to.
Yeah,
might-
look, Tasha City's Laster, Kinetic John, Enemies Abound, Charm Monster, Dominate Beast, Dominate Person.
I don't think that. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
That's
no,
fine.
you don't.
Okay. Well, perhaps if you cast disguise self into the helmet, and then someone else takes the helmet, and then you can cast disguise self on yourself, and then we have two disguised selves.
I did put a spell in the helm already at the end of the last session.
Yes, this is true.
You
Yeah.
can put a new spell in, it's just the other one would be lost.
So, if we're okay with losing the spell that we put in there, that's fine.
No,
but I would need.
What's in there?
It was a mass healing word, to be fair, so maybe that was quite a nice spell. I don't know.
I didn't put
Um,
mass healing word in there.
Oh,
Did
yes,
you
you
put
did. You put the spiky spell. That's right. But it's in there now, and yeah, that's right. Yes.
Xanthia asks, can anybody transform themselves? I should not do that accent. Can anybody
Don't do that
transform
accent ever
themselves?
again.
I can become a puddle of blood.
I
I'm
can
just
make people
saying that.
puddles of blood.
No, I don't have those capabilities, Cynthia, darling. But I am.
In the direction of the village, is there like we're currently in a clear? Is there? Are we able to get? How close would we be able to get, or still under some form of cover?
It's kind of fairly low hillocked hinterland right up till the village, which is sort of in this miniature crevasse. You could maybe go for another mile, but a lot of the sheer distance is doing a lot of the work of cover at the moment.
Right.
I feel
My
like
other
Bithynia at
thought
this
is that
moment
yeah.
would... Bithynia at this moment, her eyes would go wide, and then the camera would, like, race across the Siren Sea to Meletis, into Daxos's shop, and to the Staff of Illusions that was returned.
Yeah, the Stuff of Illusions was nice, but so was gold, so...
That's fair, that's fair.
Gold is fine.
Not singling out Bithynia in particular in any way, that was a group decision, but just pointing out how useful that thing might have been right now.
Yep.
Never mind. It's all good. We're
Thank you,
fine.
Captain Hindsight.
That's it.
I do have various spells that can charm people and influence them that way, and
My
Even-
thought is that if it's quite a long way away and there's very little cover between here and there, so if there's a way for us to get all of us a bit closer, so that whoever is doing the main sneaking, which I'm happy to try, but whoever doesn't have to try and go run for a mile in order to escape and convene with the group. Was my thoughts. Well, actually, that said, like worst came to worst, if it looked like we were going to be in trouble, I'll just turn into a puddle of blood and just slither about. I mean, it's still going to look weird, but it won't be. Well, no, it's still going to be weird. There's not really much I can do about it not being weird.
just to clarify, what is the distance between us and the village currently?
Couple miles. Xanthia says, Bithynia, can you maybe recall couplet?
I have an octopus right now that is scouting out the hills behind us. So
Oh,
That-
about that.
so
Fucking
I have an octopus
an
who's apparently 12 miles behind us now.
Slowly suffocating to death.
Well, he was swimming along the shore to get
Okay.
onto shore.
And now it's starting to
Oh.
suffocate.
He's got to be so dry by now.
Well, he's in the water. He's in the water. He went to the water to get up to the hill, and he can live hours outside of the. I think they can live 24 hours outside of water. Something stupid.
Jesus.
So he's fine. The octopus is fine. But he is an octopus, so if we wanted, I could recall him back this way, but it would take him a while to get here.
You could, if you wanted, Bithynia, take 11 minutes to recast Find Familiar, and you would be able to not only instantly bamf couplet back here, but also alter their appearance to whatever animal you wanted. Provided you
I
had
could,
the
but
10 gold worth of components. As in, not
Yeah,
that you have to
no,
do that,
I don't
but
want to
just-
send my flying couplet into the air with flying dragons. And so, Bithynia's interested in seeing what's behind us. Just in case we have to retreat.
Okay. You take a moment and your eyes roll back and you bamf into Couplet's vision. She's quite just swimming along. There's a small reef in this area that you're at. She has yet to crawl onto the land. If you want to command her to do so, you could.
Yeah, can do.
Alright, she clambers out onto the land and begins slowly, incrementally walking across the beach with her walking speed of 5 feet. It's gonna take a while before she clears the beach. How long do you want to wait to see what she sees?
I mean, as soon as I could find out, I don't know. Go back to my stat block to see. Oh yeah, it's yeah, without the caller, it's 30 minutes, so it's not that long. So I guess whatever length of time or distance I could get to 15 minutes inland, so I can make it back.
Okay, so the beach is a couple 100 feet here, so at her speed it would be 40 rounds.
Okay, so
before-
this is not gonna work, so I'll bring him back. I'll just bring the octopus back to me, because if it won't work, then it doesn't work. If I can't see anything over there, then I'll bring him back.
Okay.
Unless I could go beyond the hills and see what's beyond the hills.
So you can absolutely go beyond the hills. It will just
Okay.
take some time.
Okay, then that's what I'll do.
Cool. So about 240 seconds, or nearly 5 minutes later, the octopus is able to clear the beach and begins to walk up to the hills. You see an expanse of, I'll say 15, by the end of the 15 minutes, Couplet has just about made it onto a hill. Onto like one of the first hills, and it sees... Make a perception check using the octopus's stat block.
Okay. Perception +2. That's a total of 5. It's real salty out here.
You see another hill.
Okay. Sounds good. And I'll relay that. So just as she comes to, there's multiple hills over there. And I'll just
Right.
keep doing this until I find something.
Okay. Well, I guess if we're going ahead, we're going ahead. Or if, I mean, we're going to have to go in this direction anyway, I suppose. We need some place to have shelter overnight anyway.
We can always say that our ship has crashed ashore on the other side of the island, and we were just looking
Yeah,
for some
that
kind
might
of
be.
land, refuge.
To that point, you do see 2 ships docked in the small beached cove that has like a flimsy jetty been built into it.
Well, mate, I think that's probably the best course of action that we have for the time being, actually.
We can still go with the
I'm
whole...
reluctant. Yes. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say we could still go with the whole send 1 or 2 people out in front to engage in some dialogue, but it will probably be best if we can all get a bit closer before we do that.
Xanthi
What are you gonna-
asks, is it worth going back into the water?
I think it is.
And going round and then coming out onto the land closer.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or maybe-
we can breathe. Yeah, we can breathe underwater until. That's a bit exaggeration still, because that spell's still going.
Yep.
Might be a good idea. And then we could almost have everyone stay at the bottom of the water and then have our stealth mission. We can then choose if we want to do the stealth mission from under the, like someone just popping their head out near the pier or pier adjacent, and then go from there. Or even one person could pop their head out, get an idea of what the people that are here look like, because they could be. No, they could be humanoid, they could be Saddlebag, they could be folks. And once we know what they look like, then we can start looking at the disguises. If we wanted to do that. I think it's a great idea.
I haven't got any better ideas. Let's just do that.
We go home. Well, we go back to the water.
Okay.
All right.
It's a swimming.
So, in order to get into the water, swim around, and sort of go up into the little inlet where the village lies, it's in total going to be about a couple hours or so, but it's easy enough to do. You travel back to the coast and descend below into the waves and begin swimming once more. And it's easy enough to find the lip of the coast and travel into the inlet. Can I get just a group stealth check?
Oh.
Is this at advantage still?
It is not.
19.
The DC's low.
26.
I rolled another 5.
Fucking hell.
As I'm doggy paddling through the water. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Has water breathing, but is not below the water.
Can't get my hair wet. Can't get my hair wet.
I cannot.
You were always the screamer back in your college days, Bithynia. Nothing's changed.
Still am.
Jesus Christ.
That's fine. Scotty?
You'll need to roll for me, I'm afraid.
Ah, right, sorry.
I don't think I should roll for you.
No.
Natural 20.
Hey, we burnt one of the DM's natural 20s, guys.
Yeah!
Yay.
Alright.
Oh, and your stealth is +5. Oh yeah, +5, so yeah, 25. That's okay, that's really good rolls, so it is an overall success, and you quietly swim into this inlet. And the inlet itself is a couple miles or so is worth of swimming. But eventually, the water shallows once more. And soon enough you begin to see the underside of the hulls of the 2 triremes that are docked. Oh wait, no, you wouldn't see that from there, because they're basically almost beached. But as you can peer out of the water, and you're only about 500 feet from the shoreline, and you can see these ships clearly. You see one that is a smaller ship, a bireme, actually. Almost out of character, similar in size to a longboat, like a Viking longboat. A smaller variant of a trireme that looks faster, maybe, has a sort of side sail. The other one is, inversely, seems to be larger than, in terms of frame of reference, the Siren's Wrath. A big, slow hulk of a vessel. What are you guys doing?
Can you see anyone?
And are the dragons still there?
You can't see from here, but what you do see at this point, the settlement itself, it's strange, it's a mishmash. You spot, and Bithynia, you in particular would know, elements of Triton architecture in the buildings, but ancient and worn away by the ravages of time, almost like ruins. On top of the ruins, you see piles and piles of ship parts that have been crammed and ramshackly assembled on top of these ruins to create a kind of ramshackle shanty town with all sorts of weaving wooden beams and bridges that almost like a junkyard town, like a ship graveyard village.
Does this Triton iconography ring any bells in your mind, Xanthia?
Not particularly. It looks like a village. Much like the village I came from, but that doesn't mean much.
But your village was under the water, yes? Not on an island?
Mine was, yes, but it's not unheard of. In fact, it can absolutely be the case for my people to make coastal settlements as well. We're not confined to the sea.
If you're wanting me to get a little bit closer, I'm down for that.
Still haven't seen what the inhabitants look like, and I mean, if we get a bead on what manner of servants this dragon has, perhaps Triton. Would Triton, Santhi, would you consider, would some Tritons follow this dragon even after what it's done?
Let's cross that bridge when we get there.
Also, if we're concluding that these villagers are not good people, do we want to sabotage their boats so they can't come after us?
I like that idea. Let's do that.
Especially that smaller. It's not
The Byrene. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that one's going to be much faster than that Colossus. So, if we get a good few days or a few hours head start, we should be okay. But that thing potentially could catch us up. So perhaps.
That's a solid plan, Scottiness, but we could also use one of the boats to make our own getaway. We are without our own, after all.
How many would need to be? Would you? How many people would you need to crew a Byrene?
We might be a little short, but we could. Oh!
It'd be about 40 or so.
40. Ooh.
It's still a ship, it's just more of a light sloop than,
Possibly. If we find others that need to escape, we can all escape en masse. Alright, we won't destroy the boat yet, but destroying the boat possibly later.
Already agreed.
Well, yes, this is a good position for the fields up to a light scouting. I would probably suggest, if it's going to be Deletta and myself, and then we tell Bithynia what we see, and then Bithynia can then disguise a scout to join us. Or who knows, maybe it's their Tritons, in which case then Xanthi can join us straight away. But yeah, we need to get some eyes on what lives here.
Are you happy with that plan, Bithynia?
Sounds good.
Well, time for the two bards to head ashore.
very well.
I think before we leave, Dolisa does her best to play a tune on one of her instruments. It's very, very akin to something that Scotty would play himself, which is in turn very different to what she would play, but in an attempt to inspire him. And she will give him some bardic inspiration to help with that stealth check. Or whatever he wants to use it.
Very well.
Thank you very much.
And you both then begin traveling inwards. Under the waves still, I presume.
Yep.
And travel you do. You are able to swim past the two boats. So actually, yeah, so there's the section where the two boats are beached, but the village itself is adjacent to that, and you swim slightly inwards where the water is deeper. And I can activate the exploration map.
Ooh.
So you should both be able to... So everybody's on the map as a token in order to be able to see what's going on. But the only ones who are actually, like, the rest of you are further back. But and I'll transition to the battle cam just so people can see what they're looking at.
I must have salt water in my eyes, Zaletta. What are we looking at?
It's still loading.
Oh, that's
Oh yeah,
fine.
this is a
can't see.
huge map. It's literally the
look at
entire
that.
village.
Well, that is so cool. Love it.
Also, there's supposed to be fog of war exploration on this, and I don't see any, so I'm not sure what to do about that. So you'll be able to see the whole village.
Oh my god.
Or some of us will just look at this.
That's awesome.
That is crazy.
Question:
That
you,
looks like-
Sammy, can you see the whole village, or do you just see like a certain radius around you?
No, it looks like the whole village, yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Just to keep this congruent. Configure. I'm gonna toggle off global illumination.
This slightly looks like a scene from like what's it called? Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Thank you.
Oh, is that what you were going for? Is
I
it
mean,
what?
This is the map just exists by itself, but you know what? I'll just leave it as is because you guys can kind of you would have gotten a look at the village anyway. But yeah, this is where you are. So you pass by this temple of sorts that has aquatic filigree and these sort of statues of whales that adorn it. What
This
do you
is
do?
to
Do
the
any
right.
of these seem familiar to when we were in Eslin's home turf? Any of like the site like similar symmetry like imagery there, or
Kind of. Not specifically,
I
but
see
the
what you mean.
architecture and the detailing seems of a familiar design.
right?
It's like having seen Gothic architecture and then recognizing more Gothic architecture.
Right.
How far is the what's the distance between the top of the water and the top of the ground there to the right?
In this section here, just be about 5 feet.
5 feet. So it's easy enough to climb out at that point.
There would be an athletics check to, but you could do it.
I can fly, but don't know if Scotty can.
Bear in mind as well, you see people walking about.
Right. What do the people look like?
Make a perception check.
I will join you.
No whammies.
Nice,
Big,
21.
big. That'll do.
Scotty? Oh, right.
I'm still in the car. Sorry.
Nah.
I don't know if you're on a dice.
Make a dexterity saving throw. Roll dice while driving.
Perception. Scotty got a 19 total. Both of you see that they appear to be all races. Majority human, but you see a good portion of Triton. The odd satyr, the odd minotaur here or there. And Goliath. But with a 21, Delisa. Many of these people seem to be villagers, just going about their business, harvesting crops from their gardens and conversing. Some, those not dressed in civilian garb or normal clothes, but in combat fatigues, as, like leathers and, thuggish armor.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who's armed, you see has... You swear it was a trick of the light for the moment, but anybody with who's armed has patches of blue scale on their skin in sections. Sometimes it's framing the eyes, other times it's maybe around the throat and potentially some small horns, almost like a skin condition, giving them slightly blue dragon features, or slight blue scaled and reptilian skin.
Delisa would point this out to Scottinos, so he's also aware.
And then you see, rounding the bend, boom,
Ooh.
boom, a hill giant-sized abomination that looks like a fat, hunched-over giant with draconic features. It's got a big leathery blue tail, these scraggly wings that, you question whether they can keep it aloft. This sort of matted hair, this amalgam of, this abomination amalgam of human and dragon. Boom. 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 And it walks down the street. And out of character, I will show you guys what it looks like.
Big boy.
Boy.
I'm switching back to the main cam for a second. On the players board. Let's delete the dragon turtle. And so that is what you see, however blue, not green. If you search on the players board on Legend Keeper, the players board, yeah.
Oh, that's friendly.
And then it just rounds a bend and is gone.
Is it possible for me to do some form of am I able to get a gist of the emotional state, roughly, of the villagers? Do they appear to be under hard rule? Do they seem to be miserable and fearful of their lives? Do they seem to be happy and jovial and happy, pleased with the situation?
I was going to
roll an insight check.
Would you be able to roll me an insight, please?
Damn. Natural 17.
I rolled a 13.
So 22.
Nice.
Very nice.
It's a mix. Some of them, the ones that are obviously better dressed, seem quite alright. Everyone looks a bit thuggish, a bit brutish. As in, nobody looks like, I guess, like a serene society, necessarily. This definitely seems like, you'd almost compare it to a rougher neighborhood. Everyone's a bit on edge, everyone's a bit on guard, but not everyone's looks unhappy to be there. The ones that look unhappy to be there seem to be, more often than not, being led around, or being sort of following in deference towards others who look happy to be there. Maybe 10% of the people you see are kind of meekly being ordered around for the rest. And with a 21, I'll say as well, you do spot that the ones that don't look happy to be there have iron bands around their neck.
That's not good.
Okay. Wow. I think I point this out and say, well, perhaps that is what happens to those that turn up on the shores uninvited.
Scottinos, I'll let you in with a little secret. It's not the first time I've seen something like this, and I am well versed in infiltrating settlements. So this is not my first rodeo. Never gets easier to see though.
What do you suggest then?
At first, we try to become one with the community, blend in as much as we can, act like we're part of the property, and then we form bonds, friendships with the civilians there, and through that they gain our trust, and then we can ask the serious questions. What is exactly going on here?
Do you think we are able to bring everyone else at this point? Is there enough villagers for us to get away with having more people?
I think I got most of what you were saying there. It was a bit rumbly.
Yes, sorry, I'm just asking if we have enough people, if we know how many people, like if we could get away with having everyone here at this point. Sorry for the background.
So just to clarify, you are saying that whether it's best to call the others at this point?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. Perhaps, yes, although I'd say a large show of force. I mean, there is a significant difference between 2 and 7 of us, and the 7 of us may look a lot more don't know, like a bit more daunting for them. So
I'll go with what you think is best. This is your kind of rodeo.
I think for now, just the 2 of us is probably best. And with our charm and cunning, hopefully we can glean just exactly what's going on here before we bring the others in.
Sounds like a plan.
So, just to clarify, there are villages. You see where my cursor is here, next to the temple. There are villages kind of knocking about here as well, like.
So you should be able to see the villages that you can see in the immediate vicinity.
Oh yeah, I do now. But there's no sign of life on this bit of land here, right?
Not right
where
this
we are
second.
adjacent to us. No. Okay, Scottinos, we're no good in the water, whatever we want to do, so we should probably get up on land. Are you happy to do so?
I can turn myself into a puddle of blood or something if whatever is needed or follow you. And I'll just try and not make myself look too exciting.
Okay.
Alright, I'll unpause it. I'll move Scotty's token. Can I get a stealth check from the both of you?
You can. I think before Delisa would make a move, she would pray to Amaranthe and ask for guidance.
Very well.
$21.
Good, because Scotty rolled an 8.
He does have the bardic inspiration if he wants to use it.
Scotty?
Yes, I'll use it. Yes, I'll use it.
What is that, a D10?
D10, yep.
It's a 5. Raises it to 12. No, wait, what's your stealth again? Sorry, no, 13. All right. You
But yeah.
appear to not be noticed as you round the bend and hide behind the rocks near this temple.
When we do undoubtedly make contact with someone, is the story that we're going with the honest truth that we're... Or, sorry, the honest truth, or that we're... that we've became shipwrecked and made our way here?
I think we can see. Well, I suppose we can try honest. Or we can try either. If it looks like it's going badly, we can just then make ourselves scarce.
Okay.
There is no wreckage for them to be seen, so perhaps it makes more sense unless we say we just swum ashore.
When you are trying to free people from oppression, and that's what it looks like here, judging by the collars, you need to fill their hearts with hope. That's what I'll try and do. Okay. I'm gonna take the path around the back of the building. Kind of get to this point here and then just make a glance around just to check there's no one there.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Well,
You don't appear to see anybody back there.
okay. She will press on.
I'll keep an ear on to see if I can hear any kind of like if we get any closer to any villagers of any kind, just to kind of listen to them to see what kind of things they're saying.
Okie dokie.
So, just to get an idea of like the kind of conversations they have.
Okay. In this particular area where you guys are now, you seem to be pretty far away from anybody, but noted for future
cool.
reference.
Okay. This where I'm standing here looks like it's, I might be wrong, but it looks like it's higher up than down here where my cursor is.
Yes, you find yourself with a series of with a stepped path before you that seems to round the bend.
Okay. Now, obviously, I can see people on the virtual tabletop, so I guess Delise is making another perception check just to see if she can see anyone down those steps and in the far reaches of.
Make a perception check.
Yep.
I'll say you don't need to make a perception check to spot those people there.
They are definitely there.
They're definitely there.
And are these armed people? Are these villagers with the bands around their necks?
I'll ask you to make a perception check for.
Okay. I don't know if you've seen that, but it's in that one.
Hard to tell. Whilst you're doing that, is there anything anybody in the other group would like to do?
Can I still scout with my little octopus dude? See if I can see up another hill or from another hill?
Yeah, you can. Make another perception check.
Woo! Dirty 20 that time.
Much better. This time, Couplet is able to basically find a tree on the next hill and climb up that. What Couplet mainly sees is the Dirty 20 about an extra 7 miles of hilled landscape. that seems to give way to a flat, sort of arid plain. Hey, I just heard a noise. Sorry, like,
We got
what
some
was-
gifted subs.
Oh, God, Moria Ravensight, you are the actual greatest. Which, by the way, we figured out how to make you VIPs, so we've done that.
Yay!
But, swinging back, yeah, so, that's what you would see. And Couplet sees that it seems to be a case where the hills break and give way to, the flat, arid plain, that you also notice, I'll say, with the Dirty 20, seems to have, like, these cracks running throughout it. It almost looked like a dried-out riverbed, but, like, the sort of cracked formations are far larger and wider, and it almost looks like a series of small earthquakes made this entire land look like cracked plates. But when the hillocks give way to this cracked plain, there is also that's also where the forked mountainous crag gives way. It's like it ends where the hills end as well, and then there's just a flat plain in that entire area.
Question: do we know if this island is a volcano?
Roll a nature check.
Hold on. What is that? So many tabs. So my nature is +9 to 18, so 27 to 20.
Jeez.
27.
27.
So I'm looking. I'm like, is this a volcano? Do we also have to worry about that?
With a 27, so I'll say this. Not only do you definitely know it's not a volcano, you know they couldn't form this way, but having sized up the geology and the geography that you see, the forked crag that is like a split mountain range of raised spikes, of like raised spiky mountainous crags is the only way I can describe it, doesn't look like it formed naturally.
So maybe, potentially. So I think that while Buthenia is sitting there paddling the water, and she sees her eyes that have gone white while looking through Couplet and the octopus in the tree. It's gonna come back, dog paddling there, and look over. So over there's a bunch of hills. Do you remember that? As she's looking, I'm guessing Amalia's in the water still. Bacchus and Scotinos. No, Scotinos is over there. So I think that there might be a lot of tunnels, maybe, that have popped up here? Because maybe?
To elaborate further, because you rolled a fucking 27, it feels like in a bygone era, something big carved a sundering path into this island that left those crags.
So she'll look over at Bacchus. You remember those crags and stuff and those things that we saw, the hills and such, when we first got onto the island?
Yeah.
So while I was just looking in through Couplet, I saw that there was a lot of indentations and like dugout areas, and I think that whatever was here that pushed and like moved the earth around was really fucking big. I don't think that like those crags that we saw weren't from like an earthquake or something of that sort. Like it was like something bulldozed into it, and like, you know, if you're pushing sand like this or something.
Okay. Do you think it could be the dragon?
Highly likely. But that's a really big fucking dragon, if you remember how big those crags were, and how big the are. Well, I guess you didn't see the ravines and stuff, but
To
they
clarify,
were huge.
sorry to interject, to clarify, you could surmise that, barring maybe Thraxes, because these are, you know, tall enough to be qualified as mountains, even if on a smaller degree, that looks out of the wheelhouse, even of a big dragon. Like, Thraxes is an anomaly, so maybe something his size could do it, but no ordinary, for lack of a better term, dragon, even mighty ones, could do that.
Yeah. And so she'll look at Bakos. It's an anomaly, for sure. I've never seen anything like this outside of this area before, so I can only go off of what I've read, and I don't have my library to double check, so that's all I've got for now.
I mean, that's some really good work there, Bithynia. Top-notch book smarts, all of that. Here's the thing. I still don't... This just tells me that we need to use underhanded, sleight of hand and trickery to get this thing and not take this thing head on. So, yeah, this just reaffirms my plan to capture one of these little bastards. Because if this dragon is that big, yeah, I don't really want to fight that. Not that much.
But then you roll a history check.
That's not as good. Let's look. History?
Yeah.
I only got 19.
You've heard of us. There are various different accounts of various legends, for lack of a better, but not lack of a better. There's various legends where the topography and the geography of Theros was forever changed by Titan creatures. You know, islands that... You've heard tale of islands that were drowned by a kraken because they were actually built upon the kraken's back and it simply woke up. Or, going further back, the Titan Wars of legend, when the gods first rose to prominence in Theros. It is said that the land was... that many of the mountains and many of the valleys were carved into the landscape when these beings fought. This could be in that vein. This could be a remnant of an ancient scar left upon the world by something primordial.
So she will pass that on. So she'll go to Bakos and say that, you know, it's possible that maybe those that were here before, Cahoots, or maybe they were on their own, I don't know, but it doesn't necessarily
mean. Maybe, but hey, let's check it out. I mean, once the bards are back, once the bards are back in town, we'll know what we're doing.
To that note, we come back to the bards.
Delisa says to Skotinos, "It seems Thassa has devoided me of sight for a moment," and she picks out the salt from her eyes. "Do you mind having a look down there, see if you can perceive anything better than what I could?"
What, of the people?
Yes, I was looking if they had any collars around their necks.
Oh, sure. I'll try and inch a little bit closer from here and see if I can get a vision.
So you rolled a 23 on your perception check. Yeah. The one holding a cane, who looks like a slightly older, curmudgeonly gentleman, is dressed in finer clothes that... They don't look like they fit him perfectly. You get the sense they may not have belonged to him originally. The one playing pipes to entertain him has an iron band around his neck. A gentleman in his mid-30s... No, actually, sorry, a gentleman in his 60s, looks like an older gentleman, who seems to be playing a series of pipes, and the older gentleman walks forward and just begins, you know, like he's listening to a ditty.
Okay, Skotinos, I have a plan. I can communicate with the gentleman playing the pipes from where we are. However, it's not a telepathic link, so I would have to instruct him to play his pipes in a certain way for him to communicate yes or no responses. I want to make him feel safe. I want him to know that there is help here, but I don't want him to suffer any consequences that might befall him due to the person
I
that is
understand.
with him.
So you want to find out whether or not, if we kill the man in front of him, will he be sad or happy?
That's not where I was going, but that is
Oh.
certainly a point. What I was
Okay.
going to try and suggest was if the person playing the pipes, I don't know, had the authority or ability to do so, they could come to the location where we are. We seem very secluded here.
See,
That, I'm guessing.
I
is
feel
probably-
like his audience may get a bit frustrated of the the early interval.
I would assume so, and in that case, we would have to step in and possibly charm the other person. I'm happy to do that if necessary, but are you on board with this plan before I go ahead?
I'm happy to help. Yes. Perhaps it's best if I get out of sight, and even more out of sight, so that if an interaction, if this comes not to blows but confrontation, if need be, I can provide something of more of a surprise if we need to get the drop in.
That makes sense, and at the same time, you could listen out for any other bystanders that might be passing by.
Of course.
Okay.
So from where we are, I'm going to then try and kind of without being able to see the map, basically. But I'm going to try and then position myself in such a way that I've got, if not eye line towards Deletta, that I well within earshot, so that I can kind of step in if I need to, and then I'm just going to hunker down and wait.
That's fine. You can do that. Fairly straightforward.
Okay, so Message has a 120-foot range, and the guy is 70 feet, so that's fine.
I'm gonna transition back to the just as a side point, main character screen, and just I'll continue to describe for the audience. I'll continue to describe what people see, but just because
Yep.
the map isn't necessarily super informative right now in a way that I can't also describe. So you guys, as in the players, are more front and center. Sorry, the minor interjection. Continue.
No, you're good. Absolutely fine. Yeah, she casts a spell, and in the pipe player's ears, he hears the words, "Don't be alarmed. This is the..." Oh, do you want me to carry on, or...?
You're just rolling something. He so his eyes widen for a second and he skips, misses a note and it's slightly discordant, but he redoubles his effort. And the the younger actually gentleman with the cane cracks him, rips him across the kneecap and says, "What's the matter with you? My favorite tune." But he manages to catch himself and he continues playing.
"The goddess of love, Amaranthe, is looking down on you. I am one of her followers. I seek to help you, my friend. Don't react in any way if you can help it. Keep playing. You won't be able to respond to this telepathically, so you're going to have to indicate to me using your music, perhaps playing at a faster beat for a yes and a slow one for a no. I'm a bard myself. I will be able to notice the change in pace. Tell me, Are you a slave in this town?
The next little ditty tune that he's playing, he adds a sliding scale, a ascending scale into it.
I thought that was the case. Don't worry, hope is on the horizon. If possible, I would like to have a face-to-face conversation with you. You have probably realized that I am watching you from afar. But I have also realized that you are currently with an audience. Am I right in assuming that you wouldn't have the capabilities to stop what you're doing and leave right this moment? Is that correct? Remember the instructions I told you.
There's another sliding scale, this time descending. What? That's not how the tune goes. Are you improvising? Wraps him across the knees again. The pipe is off playing, it says, Sorry, master. Busting for a piss. You wouldn't deprive an old man of draining his eel now, would you? And the master seems to find this endearing and amusing. That's why I like you, Aster. Your crassness is a breath of fresh air. Make it quick. Actually, you know what? I'm tired of this for the day. Take your piss and meet me back at the house. Actually, he's gonna roll for that. Yeah? Persuasion check. I might be a minute. I need to rest these kneecaps. And the master. Fine. Don't be long though. It'll be lunchtime soon, and I wish to be serenaded. And he walks off.
Well, so just say, once he's out of sight, the coast is clear, make your way to the back of the monument, to the west, to the southwest. I'll be waiting there for you.
And as this guy goes off, the pipe player will ascend the steps to go behind the temple, and he creeps up ever so slightly and peers round the bend. Does he see you guys?
As he's approaching, Delisa would just whisper to Scotinos to stay hidden for now. She'll give him the signal.
Yeah, Scotty stays in place.
No offense to Scotty, he's quite scary
I'm a
looking,
bit
so I don't
older.
want to
Oh yeah, hi, nice to meet you. Black eyes, red black Slayer, red eyes. I'm a friend. There's no judgment at all. He understands. And yeah, Scotty will stay where he is, but he's going to. Now he's heard the steps of someone come up. He's now going to redouble his attention away to hear if I get an indication of anyone else coming to join us, and that's what he's focused on.
So he rounds the bend, sees you, and he has quite a handsome face, or, despite everything. He's got these very heavy lines, crow's feet, but a very kind, jolly disposition, and handsome features beneath this long beard. And hair that tied into a little top bun with hair, with a slight mullet that goes down. By the gods, you're real. I was afraid you might be a harpy trying to eat me.
No, quite the opposite.
The gods have hated me so for a long time. You're a sight for sore eyes.
My name is Delisa. I'm here to help you, and if possible, I would like to attend to your wounds there that were just inflicted upon you a moment ago. She
Oh,
offers
there's
him
no-
a hand.
Not the first time I've been wrapped across the knee. It won't be the last. There's no wound. Do not worry. I'm used to corrections.
You will be wondering who I am and why I'm here. So to answer those questions, like I said, my name is Delisa. I am actually part of a liberation front. We help to free people of oppression across Theros. However, that is not why I am here today. Or more so, that is not the business that I have today. But I do seek to help you nonetheless. Today, I am a representative of the group known as Tempest. I am but one of their members. We have came to this island to seek a great treasure. We want to know as much as we can. The more that you tell us, the more that we can facilitate your exit or your freedom from these shackles.
Adventurers seeking Dragon's Hoard, huh? I suppose if the end result is the same.
Yes, it's a bit more complicated than that. In fact, somewhere on the other side of the world, there is great evil at large. This is one of many steps that we have to take to vanquish that evil. And you here now, talking to me, is playing a big role in that. May I have your name?
Aster.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Asta. And as from one bar to another, you were playing beautifully down there.
Well, fat lot of good my playing did for me. This isn't living.
No. I can see that, my friend.
You know, you used to throw coins at me down the street as I walked by in the police.
I've been there myself. Asta, I seek to know as much information as you can tell me about this settlement. About the people that govern it, about the rules, everything. Could you do that for me?
I'll do my best. I've been here a long time, so I may know more than most. Now everything's coming up, Aster. He sort of settles himself.
Am I right in assuming the great blue dragon, Astraphus, governs this island and, in turn, this settlement?
That would be an affirmative. There is a governing body that commands the main revelry, pirate revelry. But they all ultimately answer to her.
I see. And she resides elsewhere on the island. Is that correct?
He peers around the bend and gestures up to the looming, craggy spine that is forever in sight. Somewhere in there.
What are the scale of things here, Asta? How many people are under imprisonment?
Oh, I couldn't tell you an exact number, love. There's over 400 of us in total. Maybe less than a quarter of that are slaves. A luxury for the betters of the town. Usually those who crew one of the 3 ships.
I see. And have you been slave your entire life?
No, but I have been here for over 30 years. No, sorry. I've been here for almost 30 years. I always thought this was a divine punishment of mine.
Were you imprisoned elsewhere and brought here to work, or?
No. I was playing for a merchant vessel in exchange for passage, and we were set upon by pirates bearing draconic transformations, some more than others.
In our infiltrating, we did see humanoids with patches of blue, look like dragon scale on their face and arms and the rest of their limbs. Do you know what has caused that? Are they inflicted by some curse, or?
Not a curse, a gift. Astraphis is not just a beast. She is a disgustingly ingenious arcanist of sorts. She bestows draconic gifts in exchange for tithing to her treasure hoard. The more devoted the follower, the larger the gift.
And while we were glancing down on the settlement from afar, we seen two smaller draconic forms come from where she resides and flew down into your settlement. Are they messengers of hers? Do they facilitate these gifts?
No, they're just her nepotistic little whelps. But that's unfair. They are fucking dangerous too. Krakix and Volska.
Krakix and Volska. And am I right in assuming it is just those two?
That I know of.
The other thing we saw was a large, giant-like creature, draconic in its features. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Ah yes, the flesh chosen. Those deemed worthy of the sickest of Astraphis's gifts. They were once mortals. Twisted. With too many transmutations and transfigurations.
Quite the ugly sight, I have to concur. I don't want to alarm you, Asta, but my colleague has been listening to this the entire time, and I also don't want to offend him, but he's quite a scary-looking folk, and I didn't want to scare you off, so...
Oh, on the contrary, I'm quite relieved. I was afraid if it was just you that we were fucked.
No. You can come out now, Scotinos.
I heard. And I will... And I'll kind of initially kind of like come through with kind of my head, not kind of bowed in submission, but kind of like lowered a little bit with my eyes kind of not like looking at the ground to kind of avoid eye contact initially. Kind of walk up, and then after when I'm probably like a decent, like a conversing distance away, I'll look up and my eyes will then be visible.
Wow, I've seen a lot, but you're new.
Well, from another bard to one more. Not bad.
Thank you.
I would teach you a song, if I could. How quick are you a learner?
Please. My music
And
Let me make love to an Oread once.
And I briefly do a like an
Scotty, what was that?
Sorry, can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah, I briefly do a rendition of Drink from the Vine, to Scottinus's sad yet sarcastic song, with sort of a happy end, but with sarcastic lyrics on how things are basically fucked.
He plays, he immediately picks it up.
Yeah. And as it comes to the end, I say, well, I don't know about you, Delessa, but I always did have this quite a thing for those underfoot rising up and overpowering their supposed betters, and what better than with a song to corral the troops. If you find you are able to disseminate that tune to the other slaves that you see, let them know that when you hear that from a louder source, that the time has come, and if you are able to,
Was that the end of the sentence?
yes, that's it.
Oh, I'll do my best. What is your plan?
So, right now it's myself and Scottinus. There are 5 others currently residing in the water just outside. Ideally, I would like to beckon them our way. Do they send many patrols in this area? Would we have some time to...
This isn't ideal. This is where the pirates relax. But be quick, I believe. The 3rd vessel is due back today.
Very well. And you must be due back yourself to your master's quarters, correct? Don't
Must
want
be
to keep
quick,
you any
yes.
longer. Like my friend here said, help is coming and there is hope. Listen for it. It will come.
He grabs you by the hand and pulls you in like a little closer. Orothin, Kra, Kargur, and Belmos are the 3 captains. They command everyone, short of the dragons. Orothin commands the 3rd vessel that is due back today. Watch out for her. She is very powerful and very dangerous. And he goes. I'll say you would know as well, Orothin is a very obviously Triton name.
As he goes, Delisa pulls out a yeah, we'll call it medallion, and it's a symbol of a triangle with a with an eye the letter I emblazoned in the middle, with 2 eagle's wings sprouting out either side of it. Take this. It reminds you that hope is coming.
That'll be good. I need a lot of reminders. I haven't had hope in a long time. Just thought I would be forever cursed by Porphyros. Be secret. Be safe. And, he rounds the bend and walks off into the shanty town, and he immediately strikes up a loud chord and says, "Everybody! Humor an old man, you know this one." He starts playing, and after a moment you notice that the few people who are in this area seem to be sort of more leaning in and walking over to him, and you get the sense that he's buying you a moment where eyes will be drawn away from the entrance to this town, to this village.
Okay.
You don't imagine you have long.
No. With haste,
That's a good egg.
Dolisa will say to Scotty, "You stay here. I can get close enough to message them and beckon them our way."
And I go back to my hiding spot, which is good timing. I've just arrived, so I'm going to drop off call now and get myself situated. But basically, I will go and hide, waiting.
Cool beans.
Perfect.
I'll be back in a bit.
Yeah, Dolisa will head back into the water as stealthily as she can, and then when she's in range, she will point to where the group was and cast message. She will say, "Head towards the village. We have information. We have hope. Danger is coming. Be quick." Once you're in the settlement proper, you will see me. Myself and Scottinos are up on an embankment on the right-hand side. There is an architectural monument there. Can't miss it. We will rendezvous here.
And you guys hear this? Or yes, Bithynia would.
Yep.
Yeah. And so she'll relay the message to everyone. Is everyone good?
You mute, darling?
I said she'll relay that to everyone and ask if everyone's good.
Yeah, I'm good for now.
All right.
And then at that point, can she bring her octopus back this way? Just like in the water.
Yeah, you can
As we're
order
heading in.
Couplet to come back.
Yeah. So.
Eventually.
Yeah, they'll get there when they get there, but I figure
Yeah.
they're swimming. They'll be fine.
And because of Aster's distraction, no stealth roll necessary. The lot of you reconvene, and you see the monument. This, it appears to be a abandoned temple to Thassa, with the sort of statuettes of whales adorning the 4 pillars. But you all meet behind it, in a sort of secluded spot that faces away from the village.
Could I just have a recap on those 3 commander names, please?
Orothan, Kargur, and Belmos.
Got it. Perfect. So yeah, for the sake of brevity, I won't roleplay it, but Dolisa kind of recaps everything that Aster told her and Scottinos. Yeah.
Easy enough to do. Aster's gone. Alright, so you're all convened and you've just been relayed all the information that you heard out of character. Thanks again so much, Moira. Appreciate you. So yeah.
So what does that mean for us now?
It means there is a large task ahead, but there are people on our side. People that want to help, people that want to be freed of this oppression.
Did they say anything about giants?
They did. They told me that there was as me and Scottinos began our infiltration, we saw a creature from afar that would look like a giant, It had humanoid features, but also draconic ones at the same time. He called it the Flesh Chosen. It was a being that was deemed worthy of the sickest of Astraphis' gifts. There are others in the settlement with these gifts as well, and they are donated by patches of blue, scaly skin. He didn't tell me any more than that, but that is what he did say. There are 3 commanders in charge: Orathin, Cargo, and Belmos. Where you were, outside, in the sea, there were 2 vessels, correct? There is actually a 3rd. This is commanded by Orathin. He warned us that they were very powerful, and that they were coming. That's why it was of most haste that you...
Sorry, quick correction. Othorin, not Orathin. My mistake, I misread that.
Othorin.
Yeah.
Yes. It was of paramount importance that you left that area. Otherwise you would have been spotted. As for the 2 draconic figures that we seen earlier today, they go by the names of Krakix and Volska. I asked if there was any more young dragons. He said they were the only 2 he knew of.
And are they friendly?
No. He said there was around 400 people in the settlement, and about a quarter of them were slaves.
And he used the term slave.
Specifically, yes.
Just gonna look around, even though it's a little bit dilapidated. Well, it doesn't seem like they're bound and living an awful life here. It's like it's just status quo.
That's what they want you to think in most places like this. However, the man we spoke to was receiving a whipping, and I was trying to communicate with him. Albeit my fault he was receiving that whipping, I'm sure we can all agree that he shouldn't have been receiving it in the first place.
And she'll look over to Bakos. What do you have to say about all of this? I mean...
All I will say is they do seem to have it pretty sweet here compared to the slaves that I used to have in Akros.
Weather's nicer.
And so Bethania would know that, right? Like, she would kind of be like, she understands how different echelons of citizens are used, and so
Yeah.
even if they're not enslaved, like, she would know that. So she would possibly look at this and be like, slaves, right, slaves. And knowing that Bakos is from Akros, she would probably know that, like, there's that element in
Absolutely,
their society.
yeah. The
Yeah.
serf underclass of Akaros is well known.
Right. So she's gonna be like, And and she's looking at Skotinos and Dolisa, and you're sure they're telling the truth. Like, they're not pulling your leg, like,
No, I don't believe so, Bethania. The person doing the whipping, as far as I was concerned, wasn't even aware of our presence. So, whether he wanted to put on a show or not, he was unaware that there was an audience.
I'm not here to be anyone's liberator. I'm here to get this piece of divinity and then to get the F out so we can save my homeland. Anything that slows me down is unacceptable.
And Bethania will nod towards Bakos. We came here for a mission, and I do not like the idea that others are being punished in public. However, I understand that different cities have different ways of accommodating or approaching the way that they keep their city in line. So, I'm sure that, albeit difficult to watch or see, may be the least of our worries or the least difficult thing that we will either see or encounter today. Especially if we get to do what we need to, or are
Hopefully-
forced to do
Hopefully,
what
if we
is
fulfill...
needed against.
Sorry, Bithynia.
So hopefully, if that's the settling thing for the day, we'll be fortunate. However, I have a suspicion that if this person who's coming in on their ship is equally brutal, if not worse, then we should, as Bakio said, make haste and make our way.
Yes, what I was going to say was, hopefully if we fulfill our main goal, which is acquiring the reliquary, that we will in turn free these people as a result.
And so, looking around, as she peeps around, are there, like, is there any, like, pirates or anyone, like, mulling about from this area that she can see?
Not in this area in particular, and that was by design. Aster lured and everybody who was around here away to buy you guys an opportunity to actually sneak into this area.
Okay, so while she's over here, could she... would she be able to tell if this place has a library or not?
Make a perception check.
She got a 13.
It kind of just looks like what was described, a ship graveyard on top of, like basically mounted on top of the ruins of a Triton village. You do see, like, further inland, sort of towards the back, a couple of the obviously Triton structures are more intact, as in they don't have anything built upon them. There's a, it's not a palace, it's the size of an ordinary house, but it's more ornate, and it looks like a official building of sorts, far back, that's completely not got anything built on it, and several structures that look like they were built from enormous seashells that have been left completely uncovered as well.
And then just very random. So, one of the things. Hold on, I'm just gonna double check. Would it? Yeah. Okay. Continue. We're good. We're good.
All right.
He also confirmed to me that our suspicions were correct. Strathis resides up on the mountaintop. I would assume that Krakix and Volska are how she relays things to the people down here.
It's likely that the dragons also relay things back if they see things down here.
Yes, that's why it's paramount we go unseen. At the moment we still have the element of surprise.
Alright, so what do we do next? We're sitting here behind this temple. I can't see a library. Dragons aren't there. Do we wait here for someone to come get us? Are we going somewhere? What are we doing?
Does anybody have any blue paint?
I have a quill, and I guess I don't know if my pack that I would have maybe had would have been waterproof for paper.
Sure.
So Bithynia has a pack that she keeps with her, and she has writing stuff, you know, for when the desire to write a love note strikes. So I do not have blue paint, Vakios, but I do have a quill, and she's rummaging through her pack, and some like buy some paper.
So no ink.
I do have ink.
Blue ink?
I have an octopus.
That's black ink.
Oh, okay.
I need blue ink. I have an idea, right? So when I get really pissed off, I can use my chimeric hide to become draconic in form, and I can easily blend in with you guys. If I was to have blue scales. I can get scales if I have blue ink or blue paint. Boom, I'm one of these guys.
Is that even
What?
would that even work?
Oh, it's up to DN's discretion. I have the ability to grow scales, and if they're blue.
Lasts a minute, right?
1 minute, yeah. No, do I have oh no, do I have that feat yet as a barbarian? No, that's next level. Fuck. Yeah. When one more level, I could basically perpetually be angry and not exit rage.
One thing we do have in our favor is there are a multitude of races here, so we would all blend in, so to speak. I do have the capability to project illusions on you all to make it seem like we have the blue scales. Otherwise, we could perhaps have some of us with blue scales and some with the shackles. Make it seem like some of us are in authority and some are subservient to sell the facade a bit better.
Alright, who here's got alpha and who's got beta energy? We've really got to sell this.
I am top and the bottom back here.
If we want to get technical, alpha technically is less powerful than beta, if we want to get into the science of it.
That is the most beta-y answer I've ever heard, Bithynia. Right, we're putting some shackles on you.
Oh, don't do that, Bacchus. She quite likes that.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's true.
I'm on fire tonight.
Jesus Christ, whoever that is.
Jesus, Heliod. That doesn't work. It doesn't sound the same, does it?
There are 5 of us, right?
7.
There is. But there are 5 players. Okay, so based on the fact that you've previously also said that about 3/4 of the people here are blue.
Oh, sorry, a quarter are slaves.
Okay, good. So
A
essentially,
quarter are
what that
slaves. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, a quarter are slaves and 3/4 are blue scaled people.
No, there's actually about a quarter have blue scales and look more like warriors.
Oh, okay.
A quarter seem to be slaves that, you know, are, I'm not going to say sparse, but not everybody's walking around with their own personal slave. It's more like maybe some of the wealthier looking people in this village have a handful of them. At least that's best as what you've been able to peer and see if you perceive looking around the corner. The rest just seem to be kind of mean-looking villagers.
Right, I'll be a mean-looking villager. I think I've got that down to an absolute science. Amalia, I think you would look really good as a slave. As would you, Bithynia. And then everyone else can just be either blue-scaled people or mean-looking villagers.
I have the ability to look as however I want, though.
Yeah, so put that to good use and look like a good slave. There's a good girl.
Hilira pipes up. There's around 400 people, isn't there?
That's what we heard.
That's kind of a tiny town.
Yes.
I'll put a hood up. I'm disguised, see?
Just saying. Might be like a everyone knows everybody around here type situation, like in most villages.
I did have that passing thought myself.
I did not think that was the other point.
Well, then I'm fuck all out of ideas.
Scott, yeah, Morse isn't even back yet.
In that case, I'll say that's where we're going to go to break. That's probably a good point to do that. It is 22 past 9, so let's meet back here at, we'll just call it an even 10 minutes. We'll meet back here in 10 minutes. Empty what needs to be empty, refill what needs to be refilled, and get yourself a delicious snack. Thank you so much to the audience. And we'll be back very soon. Switching now. And we are back. So, you're still in the village, hiding in your spot. And, whilst you're debating your next move, I'm going to quickly add Morse to the scenery. But, yeah, what would you like to do?
Are you all together at this
Yeah.
point, or...? Okay.
So let's say, for argument's sake, this is everyone and take on.
You're cutting in and out, hun. Still can't hear you. I think Violet needs to join your text-based game, Rebecca. Be better for her.
Damn, harsh. Okay, well, whilst that's happening...
We've said that the octopus is coming back our way, right?
Yeah, but it's gonna take,
Okay.
like, a couple
A
hours.
while. Oh yeah. Scotty helped me with the math, so we got it.
I was initially calculating as if it was 5 feet per 6 seconds, and then realised, oh no, it's actually on the. I'm on the. Oh, hang on. Okay, I'm on the. Yeah, that's good. But yes, so that's all sorted. Yeah, he will get there eventually.
Very well.
So do we just like walk about, or are we walking? What are we doing here? Are we going incognito? Or are we not going incognito? Are we gonna get back in the water and swim around? Because I've just got here. I can't see much, but I know that the canal like goes further in, so I could like swim around.
You were making quite the splash before, so perhaps not.
My doggy paddle is top notch.
But no, I don't think we just go walking around. It's...
Question. Do
Babe, if you could take the potato spud with a 90s
This is-
radio antenna sticking out of it that you call an internet router and replace it with... Oh, we lost Violet. Say again, Violet?
currently not connected to the Discord source.
Okay, no worries. But whilst that's happening, Scotty, did you want to say something?
No, no. I was just saying that we checked the maths for the octopus. That was all. Scotty's happy just listening to hear what everyone else's advice is. He will say that everyone's there is, well, if they do decide to rise up, referring to the slaves, they know what to listen out for. So if we do decide to go full on coup, hopefully that will go well. If we decide not to, that'd be quite sad, because they'll be waiting for a song that never happens. But yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Well, all right. Do we know where we actually need to effing go in this village, right?
No, we know that the ones that are more powerful are the crew to the boats. There's a third boat that's on its way back. So at the moment things are better. Killing the captains would destabilize a lot of their organizational muster. If we wanted to just simply cause that kind of angst and then, amidst the chaos, then find where this dragon holds the loot, we could do that. We might be able to get more information from others, but at the moment there isn't a clear path of where to go next. Just that we know that currently the position is, things are a little bit better currently because there's only 2 boats rather than 3. And we've confirmed that, yes, there are some unsavoury people that have thrown in with the flappy one.
You mean the big boy dragon? Alright, fine. Cool. Well, once you guys figure out where we're going, let me know, and I sort of sit down, sort of go, and just sort of like start chilling out. I'm like, I could not give 2 shits about. I could not care 2 shits about the slaves here, right? They're not my slaves. They're not like any of the slaves in Akros, you know, the place we're trying to save. So I say, let's just get in and out as quickly as we can.
You saying something, Amalia? As in, do you want to try again?
Violet, you were trying to say something?
I don't know what to do. To find something.
We're hearing 2
And then
out of
on
10
the other hand, I feel
words.
sorry for the people that are there.
Oh wait. There's latency and then it drops in and out.
Maybe if you turn your video off, it'll help the bandwidth.
There's supposed to be signal boosters in that house. I don't know what's... Do you want to
Maybe
type
it's
it
just
out?
where the microphone is positioned relative to everything else, maybe.
Maybe. Maybe can you hold the microphone a bit closer and say it?
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So basically what I was trying to say was, on one hand we need to find something and we have no idea where it is. On the other hand is, you know, there's slaves here and I don't feel comfortable like with the whole slave thing, and like that's, but then again it has nothing to do with us, but then again it does, because like, would we save them or would we not? And then on the other hand,
Whoa. The audio cut out.
We got everything up to on the other hand. So that's everything. So so there are only 2 hands.
Just go from on the other hand.
It was so perfectly
Nope,
timed
still
as well.
muted. Still like.
Going so well.
It was, wasn't it?
Skip me right now.
No. We hear you. Talk now. Like whilst you have the window, speak.
Right, and then on the other hand, do we find the object, then save them, or do we save them first, and then while the chaos is going on, do we then find the object?
I was thinking, yes, the first. If we manage to cause enough chaos, that might give us the window of opportunity, because the dragon would then need to come and restore order in its ransacked town, and then in that time, when it's being that, we can go through and we might have a hope of finding it there.
Who
Xanthia
are they
asks.
enslaved to?
Oh, so go ahead.
Who are they enslaved to? There's only a quarter of them enslaved.
They're all enslaved to Astraphis. However, what I will say is, out of all of us, I am the most motivated to save these people. However, for the sake of defeating ourselves before we've defeated this dragon, I think that is a conversation for another time. And we should focus on the reliquary more than anything.
I know that only a quarter were enslaved, though. A quarter of the people?
That is correct.
So if a quarter of them are enslaved, but then I'm hearing all of them are enslaved,
Well,
what is the difference between the 100% to the dragon versus a quarter percent?
Well, there's going to be those that have thrown in and, have kissed claw enough to have earned a higher station, and then have reaped the rewards over the rest. And also, from what we understood, it sounded like they send the pirate ship out, they ransack a boat or something, and then it's who they capture from the boat that they board that become the slaves. Maybe there's a way that then people can earn themselves out of that slavery. I don't know. That's everything. But I think that's their main thing is they just bring slaves from whatever they kind of raid.
Correct.
So there is definitely a slave. Yeah, there's definitely a slave. There's definitely a slave Etta caste. But what Adalessa is meaning is that they're all effectively subservient to this dragon because it's a dragon. So removing the dragon would mean that kind of hierarchy could crumble.
That would be bad.
True. Could we do it though? Is another question.
Would they rebel against us though if they knew that we were doing it? I mean, I'm just thinking that while they are enslaved, they do have a hierarchy that we could be disrupting.
So the ones that have been given powers by maybe are more likely to throw their lives in to defend, or at least be more of a it seems to be that only the ones that are blessed in very, very heavily quoted quotation marks by the dragon have arms in the first place, so they are probably more loyal than the rest. So if the dragon was to go, everyone could rebel against the remaining loyalists. That's at which point we've kind of done our own thing, and then what happens, and we don't necessarily need to jump into either side. But do we want to if we were able to fight a dragon now? Then fine, we can try and find the dragon, somehow just see if speak with slaves or find some contacts that might be able to tell us where the dragon is, and we just go there. Or we cause so much havoc with the hierarchy here, undermine the captains that work here, upset the status quo so that the happy dragon village is no longer so happy, and then she comes back and swoops in to restore order to her idyllic family-esque setting that she's created in this weird rule. And
myself.
so those are the two options I can see.
Xanthia pipes up at this point. To that point, if we try to disrupt the order and we are found out, we potentially have 3 crews of pirates with draconic gifts, plus 2 dragon babies, plus Mama Dragon, all in one location, descending down on us.
Doesn't seem logical to me.
Okay.
However, so let's look at Bacchus. I think that, going for the top down could be a possible, solution, because if anything goes wrong down here, we have 400 against us, possibly. However, do you think that it'd be possible, I'm looking at, Lisa, when, in terms of an uprising, if there were a way to figure out, would there be a way to figure out who is enslaved, the lower than the others? That way, if or when they knew or saw that shit was hitting the fan, that they would know that that was their time to rebel. Because if they have,
we've kind of done that in a way that those with a metal band were most likely the slaves, and I don't know if it'll work, but it was a bard that we managed to call over. And we taught them a song to disseminate, and should they hear that tune again in a significant fashion, that could be the sign they're waiting for. So we kind of have done, as I mean, we've only just started because it was just one slave, and how long it takes to spread that word.
But the seeds of rebellion have been sown.
Yeah.
okay. So then the next part is, if we know that that's being sown, then do we have someone, or is that person that you ran into, or the one that was being booked, would they be amenable to talking about possible treasure locations?
I would assume, Bithynia, that the bulk of the treasure is kept with Astraphis in her lair.
Well, in the book it said that some of it is buried in the sand. So I don't know if that means the north side, the south side. It can't be at the very tip of the mountain. It has to be somewhere. So maybe, I don't know if there's a walkway up there, or, that's another thing. Do we go to the dragon, or did the dragon come to us? These are very important questions.
I would like to assume that she would keep her most prized possessions behind her.
I would think so too. The best thing for us to potentially do would be to just confirm where this treasure is left when they have well, there's 2 ways we can do about it. If we don't want to raise the alarm, we can wait for the second ship to return with all its plunder and see where the plunder goes and follow the plunder. Downside to that is then when things get a bit worse, the village now has the 3 ships to deal with. But that might just have to be the case anyway. But that would then mean we know, without having to risk a bad confrontation with someone that might know where to go or might rat us out, we just follow the plunder, and then we try and have a dragon, I guess. I'm still not 100% on this trying on the dragon thing. That's
I'm all for going for the treasure. I will have Couplet in the water nearby eventually. So Couplet is in the water, can follow the ship.
What about... I can't believe this. We do both. So, plunder, etc. The plunder goes somewhere so we know where the dragon's lair is. Then, the seeds of rebellion, now hopefully fully sown by the time that the ship's back. We ignite the rebellion. How well it goes, we'll see. We might be able to do a bit and then get out and then let the rebellion do its own thing. At which point, dragon swoops in to deal with it. At which point, someone that we have placed, or people we have placed, or all of us, go into the lair, get the thing we need, while she's dealing with her other stuff, get it, and then we go.
Quick
That way
clarification.
we never interact with the dragon directly.
Quick clarification, just because I reread the wording of Find Familiar. You could have used an action to dismiss Couplet out of existence, and then another action to make her reappear anywhere within 30 feet of you. So you could have actually bamfed her back to you instantaneously.
Okay, I'll just say that. That'll be fine.
Cool. Octopus appears on the sand.
And
Next
so,
to you guys.
Okay.
well, octopus. I'm going to send the octopus into the water. I guess, and maybe send them out because I'm guessing the ship is down here. I can't see the map.
Yeah,
I'm
the
guessing
ships
it's
are
to
beyond the thing south. Yeah.
Like the bottom. Yeah, I figured as much. So, actually, before that, can I, because I technically don't, because Fog of War, we're going by Fog of War, can I just send them in and say that they've gone into this little outlet to see more than what we see?
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
So you could recast the spell to turn them into something else if you wanted to and get an aerial view. Something innocuous like a hawk potentially, or sea eagle or something
Seagull.
like that. A seagull. You could absolutely use this, or a sea eagle if you wanted something slightly bolder. But either seagull. You could absolutely do that if you wanted. Or you can just send them in as an octopus. But not all the waterways have like inlets that go further in.
That's fair. Yeah, we'll say it was a seagull for this, and I
Alright.
will send them up. And so,
You take
what was
11
an
minutes to
octopus is now
cast.
gone.
You take 11
and,
minutes to
yeah.
recast it and mark off the 10 gold of material components. Because I believe you bought a few,
Yes.
right? You bought a few sets of that.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
you mark
'cause
off
I
one of
knew.
those sets of material components. Sword like flies off. Well, say you know, you go a little bigger. You make a gannet. Something a little
I was gonna use something. I was gonna use a seagull because I still need this to be inconspicuous when
Oh,
it
yeah.
goes in to follow the treasure.
Oh yeah,
So I
gannets-
feel like a big ass monstrous bird would be a little more suspicious as it's like going into a lair.
No, fair
Like-
enough. Again, it's just another type of seagull. But no, yeah, it's just a regular big old
Oh.
seagull. And flies in. And yeah, so you would be able to get a vantage viewpoint of the entire map. So we can say that you've charted that out. Make a... No, actually, I won't make you roll for this. You see various villages throughout. Many of the warriors have those patches of blue scale upon them in different locations. And you see a couple other of those dragon flesh, also like flesh chosen abominations. But in a couple other places, you see these heavily armored humanoid dragon knights that seem to be, you know, full hoplite plate armor with wings on their back. And elements of them remind you of the abominations, but these look like a non-failed batch, basically, of that same thing.
Yikes.
These ones are like the size of a human, or like the size of a humanoid, but with just a dragon's head. Out of character, they resemble Dragonborn a lot, or half-dragons in that sense, but you guys, neither of those things exist necessarily, but that's what they look like. But with these big draconian wings down their back. One of them seems to be chewing a very suspiciously shaped haunch of meat. And you actually see a different figure with similar patterns of blue scales, but dressed in a sort of ordained in like a almost priestly attire, and seems to be giving out a sermon to a lot of these other warriors, mainly ones of the sort of base variety. And yeah, you continue to fly forward, and you get an aerial view of the town.
And on this map, about how far are they? If I'm looking at the map, where is this little sermon deal going from where we're at the temple in the lower? Oh, they're at this like gold bell thing.
So okay, yeah. So yes, it would be outside this golden, like this enormous ancient bell that's tipped over on its side and seems to have been turned into a abode of sorts.
So she'll relay this back to them. So as her like eyes come back and Siegel comes forward. Just ahead of us, that way, there seems to be a gathering. Unlike the ones that you said that you've seen already, there seems to be someone giving a sermon to a few that seem to be a bit different, a bit bigger, more dragonborn than the others that you've described with just simple scaling. Did the guy that you spoke with, did he mention anything?
Nothing about that.
No.
Just to clarify, a sermon is like a religious speech, right?
Someone seems to be saying something to that effect, yeah.
And this is like a medium-sized creature, like mechanically?
Yeah. Looks like a normal human.
Are the different like sections of the town as clearly defined there? I see, like, it sounds like from the map it looks like there's almost like like slums where we are like in the middle of the map, like a strip of like slums like along the riverbed, and then like almost like upper class up at the top. Is that in keeping? Is that
yeah,
what
kind
was
of,
there, or?
yeah, to a degree, absolutely.
The gentrified area.
Where best to find some place for refuge? Perhaps.
What about this ship that's in the middle right here?
That appears to be just like a wreck that's been parked up.
So could it be safe? It doesn't seem like anyone's in it. I could just sit in this thing like Troy. Like,
We could. I mean,
Possibly.
we don't know how long it's going to take until this second boat returns. Like, my plan, or my suggestion of this plan, hinges itself on the fact that we would be waiting for the other boat to return, and then on its return, then things kick into gear. But I mean, we don't know how long that could be. That could be a long time or short time.
You know, it was due to arrive today.
Yeah.
Oh, we do. Could be now. Could be in an hour. I don't know. It's a long time. So, well, in that case, ignore everything I've said. Then all we need to do really is wait and watch.
We wait and watch by like the sea, like the ocean front, and like hide in the like bushes and stuff like that, and then wait.
Well, could Couplet just follow, like, just follow in the sky, and then we don't need not even leave this position if this seems fairly like how secluded does this place feel where we currently are?
At the moment, you've not heard any voices or anything like that seems to be coming this way. You're definitely at the very outskirt of the village. But it's uncertain. You know, you're next to a building that seems to stand out quite a bit amongst the other. Isn't like it's definitely one of the ones that's more noticeable. It's not just mishmash of miscellaneous shipwreck.
Yeah.
This is one of the Triton structures, like one of the. And it's not been disturbed by the shanty construction.
The gaseous forms the Xanthia can cast, how like supernatural do they like look once you're in that form?
So, if she held perfectly still, it would resemble just mist, but the second she moved, there would be a naturalness to that movement.
But you could technically get like but there's no like restriction on like how high you can fly with when you're in that form, right?
No. Not that I'm aware.
No.
So, theoretically, if she gave it a wide berth, she could,
She can only cast that on herself.
Yes, because it's Harama. It's Harama that turns her into
Ah, is
that.
that what it
Also,
is?
I don't remember how long it lasts. Let me double check that. Oop, went too far backwards.
It's an hour.
So now, yes, so she could,
yeah.
you know, be a big old cloud, maybe, potentially.
Maybe if we scooch ourselves a little bit further out, away from this building, maybe a bit more into the foliage, so we're a bit more out of sight, and then we wait, see what Couplet sees.
Is that what you guys are doing?
So what?
Unless we
Yeah.
want to get more eyes on things with like a gaseous, like Xanthia in a gaseous form. Can you cast? Does anyone else cast that or not?
I can turn myself into a pool of blood and slither, but it's
Oh, that's
again,
what okay.
yeah, it's not quite, it's not natural, certainly.
I can make
Like-
anyone fly, but you'll still look like you. Says Virla.
We also
Sorry,
may
says
need
Heliora.
these spells should something go downhill.
Sorry, what spell?
Fly or soar?
Yeah.
She has both.
What did Heliora have prepared today? Let's have a look. I could cast a message. I don't know who. Ooh, I can talk to plants.
It's always fun.
Did you just say plants?
Yep.
Hilliard's done it before.
So she has speak with plants, locate object. Just trying to list off ones. Speak with dead, speak with plants, locate object. Sorry, locate creature.
I was gonna say locate object. That would be an easy one right there. Like,
Yes,
where is the
I was gonna say-
reliquary?
Well, we could confirm if it's near here, I suppose. It's good to know.
Hey,
But,
creature.
Sorry, she
should we
doesn't
not
have locate object, just locate creature. I misspoke.
This creature.
Should we locate where the dragon is? Maybe.
Yes.
So to recap what Aster told you. The lair is somewhere within the crags. The stuff about the chosen gifts and the stuff about the children. But yeah, so basically he said that the lair is somewhere within the crags.
Which are back where we started.
They're the mountain range in the middle of the island. They basically span the entire island. You could actually get an aerial view of the island if you gave Couplet 10 minutes or so to fly high and just do a big
maybe
old
that's
swoop.
it, because the other, if we don't want to do our two-parter of find out where the loot is and whatever, who knows, maybe the dragon comes to pick the loot and take it to the lair, in which case one thing we could also do is wait until dragon goes to collect new loot, run in quickly, find old loot, leave with old loot. But there's they're all pretty bad dice to roll, if I'm honest.
It's fucking tough.
Yeah, I can't see a way to make this any better.
Do we know where the cave is or no?
No.
We know a general location. Romeo's saying that if Couplet scouts from above, we can kind of get a whole lay of the island just to get a bit more geographical awareness.
So what if we did that and then we find that plus a locate creature to then try and identify a closer mark to it, maybe? Like, what answers does locate creature give you? Is it exact or is it
Where it is? Like, exactly.
really? Oh,
No, I'm asking, is it? I'm not sure.
well, I don't know. I'm not proficient with this spell.
It just says you sense the direction to the creature's location as long as that creature is in 1,000 feet. If the creature is moving, you know the direction of its movement.
Okay, so as Couplet soars to the skies, what you see, Bithynia, above all, you see yeah, this is an arid, almost like it almost resembles loosely a heart shape. This island that's sort of slightly slanted from the direction that you guys are standing in. There's this bifurcated, almost like a forked lightning, stretch of just sundered crag mountain range that runs down the middle and sort of branches into the two sort of more lumped sections of the heart shape. As it travels down those. There's patches of arid forest near the salt flat where you were, and a larger sort of section of, like, I'll keep using this word, arid forest to the northeast, that then ends in a longer tip section that is a sort of beached peninsula. Between the two sections of island that branch, like in that little that larger inlet on the other side, the big one, the sort of mouth of it, seems to be a large sea stack. And make a perception check. Roll a d20. I don't have a seagull stat block, so just roll a d20.
15.
You can make out a large reef on the tip of the other section of the island, beyond those cracked steps, so those cracked plates plane that you saw. And yeah, in total this island's about 40 miles wide, so with that description I will put the image of it on the player's board.
And whereabouts are we, sorry?
You are in, see that little itty-bitty thing at the bottom, as in that little, where the point of the heart shape would be, that little inlet, that tiny one.
Oh, yeah.
That's where you guys are.
And where did we come from?
So that big white patch is the salt flat.
Okay.
You washed up there, traveled to the middle of it, and then branched outwards. Couplet went to that sort of section of hills, and that's where they saw the cracked steps further up. And the village is at the apex of that inlet that you guys are in now.
And Bithynia will translate this over. So she could see through Couplet.
Alright.
It seems like, from what you've described through Couplet, Bithynia, that there is a possibility for us to just bypass this settlement and just head towards the crags. I would be, I don't know if happy is the right word, but I would be content in doing so if the party agreed.
It seems like if we have the ability to play the song that's needed for the people, it's fine by me.
That's probably not going to take root for some time. That would be maybe like a few days down the line kind of thing, I would imagine. If not a week, or weeks.
How long are we gonna be here for? Or
well, no, that's my point. I popped it in because there was no harm in laying that foundation, because ultimately, if the seed is sown and takes root deep enough, it may not need us to escalate. It's just putting that in their minds. So perhaps we could do good passively sometime down the line. But nevertheless, yes, we could. If that's the case, we can go and skip this entire town and just boot to the den. But we now are some spells down for the day for those that cast. Do we really want to risk? I don't know. No option seems like a good option. We can try the sneak approach, and if it doesn't work, we can then try and barter or parlay or whatever. But I cannot guarantee that there is no good option so far.
I don't see any harm in staying here a bit longer and seeing how the settlement reacts to the arrival of the third ship.
Just for reference as well, I put an icon. I created a map version of the island, which you'll see on the For the Player section, and I moved there now in on the interaction. I've interacted with the thing for the audience as well, but that little pin is where the village is.
Okay, I see that. And do we know the ship? Sorry if you just said this, but is the third ship coming in near us or elsewhere?
You have not heard
Like,
it you haven't heard specifically that it's coming here? You wouldn't know one way or the other. You have not seen any other... Couplet didn't see any other civilizational structures anywhere on the island.
I mean, the third ship will be coming to the city, though. Yeah.
As far as you're aware.
Yeah, that's what Romeo was trying to say. There's no signs of life anywhere else.
So okay, so from what Couplet saw, would I have been able to tell like where they might have docked or where the other two ships are? To see if maybe that's where they would go.
So yeah, so the two other ships are docked just south of where you guys are on the map.
There's past them.
Yeah, you went past them. There was a beach and there was a jetty that led to the two ships. And for the record, you would have seen inscriptions on both the ships. So they both bore the same draconic symbol on the sail. One bore the name the Thunder Drum, and the other bore the name the Midday Star.
So
and, you know, it's also a little unusual to outright write the name on a ship, so you sense there may be some general, like, because the Siren's Wrath is not written upon your vessel, so there may be a little vanity there, the fact that it's literally etched on the ships.
Yeah. And what did you say the names of them were?
The smaller one, or the smaller than average one, is the Midday Star, and the larger than average one was the Thunder Drum.
So Athenia is a fish out of water. She just knows how to be in a city. She's like, I don't know, I know how to talk to people, but it seems like we're being sneaky, which I'm also not great at. So, I will follow whoever has the lead, and if there's someone to talk to, I'll talk to them. But it sounds like we're hunkering down somewhere.
I agree with Scotinos' earlier point. We should maybe move more into the bush.
Maybe like 30, 40 feet or something.
That's fine. I won't move you guys on the map, but that's easy enough to do. And so you want to hunker down... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't see why Hilira couldn't use her Speak with Plants incantation to perhaps glean some more information about the island or the settlement.
The only thing I would say is if we need to probably at this point decide, are we intending to go in tonight, to acquire this item, or are we getting information and resting, because as soon as we start casting more spells, that's even less firepower we have should things go south. I'm already a little tentative that we've used some spells at all. I agree. I think it's the right call, because I think perhaps the way to do this is get the long ass method. Wait, see where the cave is, then do the rebellion, and then sneak it in. But that's a lot. That would make it a long. This is going to be a long. We'll be here a while.
I think the moment we leave to go where Astraphis is, we then commit to that and we don't come back to the settlement. So I think we make our time here worthwhile before we make that move.
Right. Well, I wonder whether or not, as we kind of going through this, when Couplet was looking through the slums, how many? I don't know if you saw this through Couplet's eyes within you, but how many of non-slave-like people were there, or was it just poor? Was it just just poor people, or slaves that resided there?
You would have seen it was mostly just poor people. It was in the poorer echelons of this little society. There were various artisans, smithies, weavers even. This is a fully functioning village with infrastructure and everything a village needs.
Perhaps there would be we might be able to find someone willing to take in a few stragglers for coin or whatever, so we have somewhere. So we're not basically hiding in a forest, in a bush and hoping not to be found. We have somewhere to be hidden while we plan and start disseminating the plan to everyone.
The only problem with that is, to the earlier point, it's a small settlement and most people are going to know each other.
Yes.
Go on.
This is why I'd say the best option, if we were going to do that, it'd have to be in the slums, because we're more likely to find someone that will take us in, and because it's a small settlement, the word that needs to be spread can be spread potentially quickly to everyone else that yes, there's help here and waiting to strike. If we choose the wrong person, yes, this all goes downhill and someone is made aware of us. But if we find the right person to take
Why don't we go back to the one that you already met?
He's probably already late for his master's supper at this point.
We didn't get any information on his residency either.
Could you draw Hilira, if you had a good drawing of what this person looked like and who he was, would that be enough for you to cast a message spell?
I could try. It'd have to be a really good drawing, though.
I could create an illusion of his face.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Of course, yes. Yeah, and then if you could ask him, if he has the moment to, tell him basically that you're with. If you say that you're with Delessa, because he knows that name, and that we would like to know the name of somewhere or someone that we could trust to stay with for a brief time while we get settled in, who would he recommend? He might be able to point us in the direction of someone, and then that's our angle.
Yeah. Or he warns us that plan is not fallible at all.
Either way, we know, and it's more information. But it also means that we commit that we're not going to go after the dragon tonight.
I agree, it's smart.
Sorry, Barkios. I know you're eager.
What? Sorry, I was asleep. Sorry.
I just thought I'd let you know we've decided.
Oh, good.
What
are we doing?
We're going to think about it some more.
Oh, good. Oh, let me know when you've actually made up your mind. Oh.
The only thing I'll say is, from my past experience, operations, infiltration missions like this have taken weeks, if not months, to successfully carry out. And we don't have that time. Thousands of people are dying on the other side of Theros right now.
But there's only 400 people in this village, so hopefully it won't take as long. But it might take a couple of days, perhaps.
It's at this point, Bithynia, you spot a sail on the horizon. You spot 2 sails, actually.
Yay. Hopefully one of them's not our ship.
You do recognize a stenciled siren on the second sail.
Oh no.
That seems to be being towed by the first sail that bears a very familiar draconic
And it's in
insignia.
that moment we knew.
We
In
fucked
that
up.
moment, we saw the phallic flag flying in the wind.
I rolled percentile dice and I set it really low, and you guys are really unlucky.
Nope, it's fair enough. That's the way. Well,
That's another spanner in this whole fucking thing.
no,
I was
if any,
thinking, I was like, you know, maybe if they're pirates, maybe I was thinking like, nah, they might take our ship. We just left it alone, and then I was like, nah, and then it doesn't count. Feels
Basically with the
Oh.
keys in the ignition.
it's fine. Okay.
yeah, full crew just sitting there. I mean, free for the
Does-
taking. Great.
Has Bithynia passed this information on to us?
No, not yet.
Okay, cool. So, in that case, that's settled then. We send that message, or we do the illusion, send the message, and we bunker down and do this in a few days, and see what it's like at that point.
So as that's going on, she will come back down and she will let you all know. So I've got good news and bad news. Which would you like first?
Is there any like middle news, like news that's neither good nor bad, that we can kind of have as just like the filling?
Yeah, well, I guess that depends on your prerogative. The good news is the middle ground is that it is a BOGO deal today for the ships coming in.
Okay.
Okay.
So the captain that we were expecting is here. However, it seems that so is our crew because I see our ship coming as well.
Oh dear.
What does that mean?
It means that these pirates pirated our ship. So the good
Yeah.
news is we don't have to go back 12 miles that way. The bad news is that getting it here would be more than ideal if we were the ones to bring it, less than ideal if she brings it.
Okay.
I think one of the things to think about as well is they've just captured a full crew that knows who we are. If they question them in any detail, they might spill.
Okay. There's another change of plan. How many message spells can you send?
A few.
Okay. First things first. Are you no. First things first. Could you send a message to, and I give the name of the crew member who I took his blood. The reason I'm saying it because I don't want to use the blood to determine if he's alive or dead yet, because I want to keep that as another way to let them know. Tell them we're aware what's happened. That we're working on freeing them. We're going to work on freeing them and everyone that's captured in. Don't mention us, please, and see if that can at least get passed on. Because
25 words, Romeo. Here we go.
yeah. Oh yeah, maybe we should give Hilira. No, it's fine. If you need to use it more, use it more. Than to use it more, it'll be fine. You can do it a few times. So
Okay.
then they know we know.
So I will mark off one use of that spell.
Cool. Let us know.
Okay.
If
Let me just double check something because she has message, but
It's sending you on.
oh shit.
Hasn't prepared it.
Nope. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, fuck.
Well, we're going to be sleeping rough tonight.
Wait, hold on. Wait. So, but could I use Plummet as a seagull to go and the?
Maybe. Yeah. Write down a message or something.
We don't know.
Or
Where he
do we?
resides.
Ship's
do we
approaching
want to
fast, by
go-
the way.
No, there's no way of us trying to get to the ship before it arrives and.
No.
If someone on the ship gets within 120 feet of me, I can send them a message with the message cantrip.
Okay. Could you do that underwater? So, could you be
Yeah.
under the water as the boat goes past and send the message and tell them
Yeah,
what
she
we need to
could.
know? Maybe it's worth you getting in position to do that, to let them know, or let as many of them that you can connect with message as a cantrip as it goes past to say, we know what's going on, we're going to work on finding this out. Please be patient, please don't say anything.
Yeah.
You probably need to go in fairly quickly. Do you want to show that illusion of the person to Hilira?
Doesn't matter. It's useless to Hilira. She doesn't have sending.
She can't do it, yeah.
Good point. Fine. Then, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do
Alright.
that, and then we'll find some place. We'll set up camp here, I guess, because we're gonna have to rest anyway to recover and get the right spells that we need to begin our multi-day long insurgency and insurrection.
Yeah. Can you hit me with some bardic inspiration before I go? Because I definitely don't want to fail this check.
Right. Okay.
All right. And he hits you with bardic inspiration, and you
I
dive into the water.
full on
Delisa.
slap across the face. No.
Yeah.
I'm in
And you hunker down in position. Sure enough, this final ship, about the size of the Siren's Wrath, a middle ground between the other two ships, in terms of its size, with a name etched on it that reads "The Screaming Death,"
Ominous.
pulls in with the Siren's Wrath, and they, if you swim out to Lisa, they will sail over you, and you can release your message. What is the wording?
So the message cantrip doesn't have a 25-word limitation on it, but I will try to be precise because they are
Yeah,
passing.
just what is
So-
your message? I should have said.
Yeah. This is Delisa. We are aware of your capture. We are working tirelessly in the shadows to formulate a plan to not only succeed in our mission, but to free you in the process. Have faith, and if possible, do not reveal any detail about me and the rest of Tempest. If you want to see your loved ones again, it is pivotal that you do so. This is not a threat. This is the truth.
You hear a response very quickly afterwards. It's murmured as quietly as possible, but you hear it. Everyone's alive for now. We gave up without a fight. There's a very scary Triton lady leading everyone. And the Screaming Death pulls into the dock. And a band of these draconic pirates jumps off board, some with patches, some of these dreadnoughts, some being these dreadnoughts with the wings, and two abominations. And they all hooting and hollering as they lead your crew in chains. And sure enough, at the helm of them you see a Triton, female, maybe mid-30s or so, who sort of saunters like she owns the place. She's dressed in like a sort of plain chitin Quiros, and you swear you see elements of blue, like a blue horn emerging out of her forehead, and she just waltzes about. She has these these almost like koi fish style violet, fuchsia fins, like fishtail fins on her head that almost resemble wavy flowing hair that goes down past her shoulders. She has a wicked look of cruelty in her eye that is unmistakable, borderline sociopathic. But she is met with cheers and hollers from the other, the denizens of the town as they rush past to greet the people returning. Was in, like, the final crew. Returning with spoils of battle. At the head of the village crowd that has gathered, emerging, you see two figures that do seem to have some amount of deference to them, based on, in respect to everybody else. They're each flanked by two of the dreadnoughts, these draconian dreadnoughts, as god. One is a satyr male, with a scowl playing about his face, and the other is a beaming minotaur, with just like kind of like a slightly devilish grin. They speak to the Triton female for a moment, before you watch as she traces something in the air, in a familiar way that you've seen before. She's casting Sending. As the crew begin to pull out casks of wine and artifacts and statuettes and treasures and pile them up on the docks. Or actually, finer point actually, if you guys, no, I take that back slightly. They actually pull into, the village in and of itself. And you thank your lucky stars you had migrated away, because they seem to be gathering around the temple where you guys were at.
Oh, damn.
And leaving their offering, shall we say, on the steps of the temple. They gather in that area and wait as treasure upon treasure is piled into this area. You see your crew be led away in chains.
I ask Xanthia, the female Triton that is leading their group, are they familiar to you at all? To you, Romeo.
I don't recognize her.
Bit of a long shot, but thought her reputation might spark some memories.
You see a much larger silhouette on the horizon.
Is Coupler able to determine from where that silhouette jumped up from?
Roll a d20.
Let's go, Couplet.
And okay, just in that flat d20, 12.
It seemed to come from somewhere out of the eastern fork.
So she'll pass that on. This is coming from the east, so the direction that we came from, essentially.
Okay.
So, sorry, when you say Eastern Fork, obviously I'm looking at the map. There's like the mountain range is like a V shape.
Yeah.
You mean the eastern side of the V? Yep.
Okay. Well,
So, and if you look at the map, you'll see these three figures. In fact, I'll switch back to the battle cam, so everybody can see. So that is what the dreadnoughts resemble, the ones with the spears. The abominations are the ones you can clearly see. And
Jesus.
those 3 figures are... That seems to be Arathan. Sorry, they're not... sorry, the dark blue. I apologize, not Violet, her sort of head fins, but... Kargur, the Minotaur. And Belmos, the Satyr. And... boom! Touching down. Astraphis, the Armada's Bane.
Ooh.
Along with Volska and Krakix. Descend as well.
Scotty, I'm in.
Never cease to impress me, Orathin. A bounty for a king as always. And a 4th ship to boot.
Arathin steps forward. Only the greatest, sire.
Volska. Krakix. You know what to do.
Astraphis takes to the air and moves backwards as Volska and Krakix pick up the horde and then take to the air themselves and begin ferrying this bundle back towards the crags. And as you guys are spotting this, can I get everybody to make a perception check?
$15.
16.
11.
I got a dirty 20. Can I also do one for couplet, or?
You can, but you don't need to.
I guess I have a 20, so it's fine.
You're the only one who spots it, Bithynia. The rest of you are too taken aback by the sheer amount of draconic monstrosity that you're seeing. But Bithynia, you spot a... because you were looking for it. A silver and ornate brass astrolabe-like artifact floating and rotating in an orbit around Astraphis herself.
Oh,
Okay, feels
And
good.
that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
just as we go, we should have just gone in. That was it. That was our moment. Well.
Hook.
Well, at least we know we can't sneak it out now. So that's stuff we didn't know before.
Yep.
No, she's definitely seems to have attuned to it and is, like, wielding it in some fashion. It's out of character, kind of orbiting her like an Ione stone might.
That's the vibe I was getting.
Yep.
I'm gonna rip it from her very
I mean, yeah,
core.
if it's orbiting like an iron stone, we just need to catapult Buckios at the right time to just go, sort of like
That's
American football huck it.
There's an attachment you need to get for the Siren's Wrath, a trebuchet to launch botch.
Oh, please.
Hey, you already made one. That was like one of our first things you made for us with Scotty and I. Like, you made a trebuchet.
I made a
Yeah, it's
catapult
true.
mimic.
We'll call it botch scotch.
Hey, I'm not. Beggars
that's
can't
true.
be choosers, okay?
No, that's true.
It could be like a little chair, and then like it flips open, and he'll be like gone. So good.
All
Or we
right.
can go like the shop, like we just get like a piece of. No, we're investing time in this, you know. So we just sort of like, you know, just to kind of like spin him, sort of like a throwing hammer, and then just release him off. There's plans. We'll
Yeah.
run some of these by botch before we use them.
I'm feeling quite
I'm
I'm
so
feeling
up.
quite pleased with that mini I made for Astraphis. I'm gonna share it in the Discord after the session so you all can take it in because
It's terrifying.
I spent a long time making that.
We'll spend a long time being terrified of it.
But thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Thank you so much to our wonderful audience. This felt like a involved stream, a lot of audience participation, and we love to see it. Thank you. Let's give a few shout-outs. Big shout-out to Crocheting Guinea Pig. Thank you, Bonnie and Moira Ravenside as ever, for both cheering some bits. We love to see it, and we always deeply appreciate it. Moira Ravenside as well, thank you for the gift sub, which I believe was gifted to our very own Angel Undies.
Yeah, I got emotes now.
You truly are the greatest. I believe that's all the shoutouts we haven't done already. And thank you so much to my wonderful players who, despite the amount of psychological torture I put them through, case in point tonight, never fail to show up to the next session hungry for more. And we'll start in the from the top right corner, so top left corner, the ever awesome Rebecca. Would you like to tell these people about yourself?
Sure. Hello, I'm Rebecca. And you can find me all over the internet at Bomb Clancy. However, on TikTok you can find me at Mimic for Hire or Sire for Hire for some tabletop roleplay stuff on Mimic for Hire and VTM exclusive stuff on Sire for Hire. And on Twitter you can also find me at D&T Studio doing some video game stuff as of recently. That's where you can find me.
Awesome. We're gonna go counterclockwise this time. Sammy, take it away.
Hello, yes. You can find me primarily on YouTube at Sammy ASMR, as well as all the other social media platforms at that same handle. But you can also find me playing D&D on Twitch alongside Romeo every Saturday over on Roll Positive Gaming's channel, where we play through Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos.
Sweet. Morse is a, if you'd like to, do your usual thing.
I'm a disappointment to the social media world, and have clearly not understood how streaming's supposed to work, in that I have no social media presence. But never fear, I will be here on Sundays to enjoy this as well. So if I haven't scared you off, then come back and see me again next Sunday.
Nice. Ali, would you like to tell these fine folks about yourself?
He will once he's plugged himself in.
He would like to tell you about himself. But...
I will.
Yeah, there
will.
we go,
Now that my headset's not died. Hi guys, my name is Angel Undies on Instagram, and I primarily do D&D mini and cosplay commissions. I've actually just finished a number of commissions involving a Manticore,
Nice.
a dragon,
Amazing.
Very awesome.
and an even bigger dragon.
Oh.
So yeah, check me out if you want some minis made, or you want some cosplay props done, because I do both.
I will say this as a side note. Before I made the Astraphis mini, I was really tempted to, because I know you had a fantastic 3D print of a blue dragon. Do you have that available?
What now?
Is it easily accessible? No, that's fine. Yeah,
No,
fantastic.
it's at a shop.
Okay. Because I was tempted to ask you to take like a top-down, like 5K photo of it. But this was before Astraphis had even been revealed. This was before the whole Nesethis sequence, so I didn't want to give away the game. But I was tempted to do that. It's a cool-ass mini. Check out his Instagram, because there's a few photos of it amongst other big boy dragons.
Oh yeah.
And I would be remiss if I did not mention as well, Ozen. That would take us next to Violet. Take it away.
Instagram. It's cosplay mostly and fashion stuff, and that is Violet_Riddle_. That's it.
Awesome. And you can catch our other two players. Beautiful.
Nice.
So yeah, I will take some. I can do a top-down photo for you, Romeo, anyway. But yeah,
I mean, now that I've made that token, I'm gonna. Seriously, that was like, I swear, I think it was a cumulative 20 hours of like kit bashing and digital editing different tokens together to make that. I think there's 7 different tokens in that, 5 dragons and 2 monster hunter creatures.
That's sick.
The horn was transplanted from a Zinogre from Monster Hunter token.
Very well.
That aside, you can find Tamara at either mar_innated or on Instagram it's mar_innated, and she does some cool stuff there. She's on Instagram and on TikTok under one of those 2 handles, and you can find Virla on Instagram at virla.louise. Or no, Virla .louise_ or
quick frantically scramble. I think you were right first time.
okay, I was right. Just Virla.louise.
Yep.
And as for myself, you can find me here, and you can find the show on all socials at DC30 official, which is just DC30 official. I've been meaning to post more stuff to those, and I might actually ask for audience help participation. If you want to clip your favorite moments and tell me what you think would make for a good little snippet on TikTok or something like that, I would greatly appreciate that. But I'll be posting more highlights in general. And as always, you can also join the Discord. The links have been being sent by Nightbot throughout the comment chat, where I share all various resources and, like the Estrafes token, I'll be sharing that, as well as the Dragon Turtle token. Tips and tricks on how to flavor your own Theros campaign to maximize the authentic feeling of an ancient Greek setting. And now I'll reiterate the new play-by-post that will be being run by none other than Rebecca, set in the Glades of Setessa.
It's gonna be
And
cool.
I believe
Can't wait to read it.
Yeah, and I believe that is everything. Oh, I reserve the right to drop in as like random NPCs and like shenanigans that won't break anything, but like just post you hear in your ear. Nah, I won't do that. Don't worry. But I believe that is everything. So thank you all so much for coming to watch the show. Shall we do a raid?
Always, always.
Alrighty,
Always,
I believe. So it's called Botched Rolls, right?
Yeah, they go live in 10 minutes, or 8 minutes actually, now.
Okay. I can vamp for 8 minutes. What do we want to do?
We can go over the tavern names that everyone came up with.
Oh yes, that was good.
So
yeah.
mostly everybody in the campaign came up with a tavern name, and so when Romeo and we were talking about the play-by-post one, I had jokingly came up with a flog log, which Romeo came up with a backstory to, with similar to the locks being on the chain fence, but instead having people's names carved into a stump in the middle. And so ahead of the game, Sammy had come up with the name, I believe it's a Golden Fleece is the tavern name that our characters had been connected to. And so for Setessa, I had come up with the flog log. So what did you come up with, Scotty?
Well, I had a few, so I didn't realize what it was for. So I just came up with ones that Scotinos would have named if he was going to own a bar. And the first one would have been he would have named the bar after the bravest creature that has ever graced his presence. So of course the tavern name would be called the Courageous Kobold, named after the good old Clancy. I did also fear that, that the chef's specialty would be the little fishy, which would of course be seared giant shark, after our wonderful outing with Miyavi. And then when it was like I-57, then I also came up with another one, like the Tavern Beyond the Veil for something Scholar related. But I do quite like the Courageous Kobold.
And Bakios came up with some on the spot, and or Ellie.
Yeah, I thought, hey, why not? There's 2 that I'd be very keen to go into, both as Bokios and as Ali. Number 1, the Slippery Nip. Because who wouldn't want to go into a bar called the Slippery Nip? And then one for Bokios specifically, the Long Drop, after my preferred toilet arrangement.
The real shithole. And then Amalia. Is Violet still on the call?
I don't have any.
I mean, There was like, I was thinking like, what would be? I mean, the only thing I could think of is a slashy saloon.
No, she wouldn't do that.
Slashy saloon.
So what would be Leonin related or Grassland or something?
Maybe like the Great Weapon Saloon or something. I don't know.
But it would have to be very, very serious looking. But there'd have to be like a back room that was just.
I know what it's
all
called.
Cushions and felt and fuzz.
I know what it's
God,
called.
yeah.
It's called the Shattered Axe.
Oh.
Romeo's not allowed in.
Oh,
that
Yeah,
is.
oh,
Axos
the
is bad.
shade.
I,
The shade.
Just say something right now. I did not say that. Sammy did.
that is.
That is the perfect name for a tavern.
I did not realise
look
you could
Shattered
do inflict
Axe.
wounds with just a verbal component. But there you are.
No, that's just called vicious mockery, my friend.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
boy.
bad thing.
See, I was trying to think of a few ones, something like if we want to go in the vein of I don't know, the alcoholic Oread. If we want to go down the Nymph Avenue, but that feels a little too plain. The other one I was. Oh, the Hydra's halitosis.
A lot of halitosis.
So halitosis.
Bad breath.
Very bad breath.
Perpetually infinite halitosis.
Yeah, you brush your teeth and then just two more bad mouths, just bad breaths just come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, just more and more bad breath regardless. Oh, I see you got us thinking of stuff now.
Or oh, the Returned Reveler. And it's just got a bunch of returned masks adorning the walls, almost like fish, like that the animated fish head.
The Incontinent Eidolon.
Nice.
Is that the? I guess it's better than Romeo initially said the fish taco.
No, okay.
Context here.
No, I don't think we need context. I think we'll just let that sit for the remaining 3 minutes and then just silently raid and just
Or no,
leave that for us.
something with a woe strider, so because that was a pivotal moment that I threw at you guys.
Beautiful creature.
The
That
wait,
was,
the wasted woe strider.
wasted woe strider.
I always thought a really good name for a D&D strip club would be the Eye of the Beholder, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Nice.
Yeah, but now I'm imagining a beholder just using one of its eye stalks to kind of wrap around a pole and just slide up and down.
Ah, Jesus.
I'm here for it.
That,
I'm
is that
here for it.
is that the eye stalk that uses the charm ray? I don't know.
Either that or the grease ray.
Oh. I mean, it's a beholder. They're all greasy rays.
This is very
They're
true.
all uncomfortably moist.
Oh no, here we go.
I think that one.
My official submission to the tavern name is the Slutty Oracle. After our favorite Zoe. Right, I think that's all the vamp we have. Are they online yet?
I think that's all the vamp I have at 11 at night. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say, they're definitely going to go online in a few minutes.
Got the old reliable, if not.
Yeah.
Very true. That is a very cool dragon.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's still hit open.
Yeah, I'm going to close peripherals just because I don't want to...
Did you print that, or is that?
Yeah, that's a print that I did.
Do you make
Oh, the
Make
wings
good-
look quite cool. Like, is it are the wings like in that as well? Or is it just, it's a solid piece, yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid
Sure.
piece, but they're super bendy, so it
Oh,
doesn't
nice.
break. Use the new resin.
Question is so I know some of the voice mods I've used in the past have been unintelligible. How was that one? Because
that was audible, yeah.
Cool. Rebecca,
Yeah,
could
that
you
was much
understand
more
that one?
audible.
In a best in Violet impression.
Did I go?
You're gonna.
And just to clarify, we will be back next week, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we're
So
good No
Oh
delay.
yeah, to that point, we're good. I'm at least good for the 4th of December, the 11th of December, and the 18th of December. I will have to break for the 25th of December. Forgive me.
Why? What could you possibly going on then?
He's in
Lack of
another
dedication.
country.
I would. It would. See, I would even run it, but it'll be me in Italy from my laptop. I can't run the session from
No.
that.
Might-
So we will have to break for the 25th of December. But I'm happy to be back on the 1st of January, if you guys are.
Yeah. I won't be doing
Can't
that.
see why not. Sounds like a fun one.
I'll be probably super massively hungover, but do my best.
What are we doing on the 31st?
That's a good question. We can find out.
Drinking.
Yeah.
I guess. It's the 31st.
And hot, steamy sex.
We're gonna need it because it's gonna be cold. And with the way heating bills in the UK are going at the moment, that's all we.
Oh, yeah.
That's the only way we can keep warm.
Oof. And on that note,
And on that note, yeah. They online, Rebecca?
I'm not seeing them, so I guess we'll just read someone else and get them next time. Because if they're not online, I understand tech stuff, but we've all been stalling for 10 minutes.
For shame is, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
next time.
We'll definitely get him next time. Sorry, I just I don't want to vamp like indefinitely. But raid channel. For shame, not honor. And starting raid.
We will see you next time.
Thank you all so much. We do so appreciate it. We feel the love and know that you are loved. We are DC30. Have a good evening.
Happy birthday, Villa!
Yeah!
Thank you.